Welcome to Gunpowder Glass, a Worlds Without Number anthology series where we follow Venators, a group of people part of an order called upon to hunt monsters, break curses, solve supernatural mysteries, and deal with problems others can't in the region of Pyrrhion. A dense, redwood-forested land that is in constant turmoil between the 6 city-states vying for larger spheres of influence, security, and wealth. The urban centers and the various factions of Pyrrhion are as cutthroat as the dark wilderness, hiding ancient technology, lost histories, and terrible beasts. These are smaller, self-contained stories that extend across multiple characters throughout the region. Content warnings for each episode can be found in the description. So grab yourself a drink, sit back, and enjoy your journey into Pyrrhion. Alright, so welcome to our first group Gunpowder and Glass episode of this season. So far everybody else has just been one-on-one, so this will be interesting to see everybody back here together, see how that works out. And we are on a potentially very dangerous episode today, so it'll be interesting to see how you guys do as a group. Not that I've been pulling punches on you guys in your single session games, but I've been trying to help you out where I can. That will not be happening this time around, so we'll see how you guys as a group can work together when you have somebody to actually bounce off of instead of having to do everything yourself. So we'll get started here. I'm just gonna do a quick little... Yeah.
I plan on having my character die any session.
Yeah, that's how I play. I just...
We'll see how it goes.
And if you do die, I can help with that.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. You'll be reborn in a different way. Yeah.
You'll never leave us, Boars.
Yeah.
You will never leave us.
So the three of you, as well as the zombies belonging to Amathelia, you guys are moving south. Further approaching the misty tendrils of Boira, reaching out towards you. You've made your way here from Ashtown, and where here is just, I'm going to ping it on the map there for you guys. It's just very far south and to the west, just underneath the smaller river there, just like directly south of Ashtown. Ashtown's this like federation of smaller villages. It's kind of like a misnomer kind of name, as it's really more just a bundle of communities that are in the sort of rivers there, and it's run by this charcoalers guild that are paying you a pretty handsome price for a job. The three of you and extras are currently on a large cargo punt being pushed along by this thin, wiry old man by the name of Geller through these swampy marshes just north of Boira there. Basically, all the bottom part of Pyrrhion, sort of everything south of Getterlung, is all kind of like marshy lands, you know, a lot of fens and bogs and swamps. It's not super great. You kind of need either a boat or you need to get lucky with some like the land, but even the land is very squishy and not super easy to traverse without some kind of boat or special device to sort of make your way through here. You guys have been hired by the Charcoalers Guild. You've been tasked to find out what has happened in a town called Lastfen, which is on the border of Pyrrhion and Boira. From where you are, from where you've left like kind of like the main river, this journey should take you about 6 hours today. You guys have left in the morning. And from the things you've learned before, and we'll get into more questions here in a bit for anything you guys want to know, and we'll do that sort of like retconning. Lastfen's is sort of insulated, but albeit wealthy community that rose to prominence in the last few decades from selling dyes and pigments, wines and juices from the processed berries that you can only find in this plentiful but incredibly dangerous land in this part of Pyrrhion. However, they haven't been heard from in a few weeks, and they've missed 2 shipments to Ashtown, but nobody besides Geller is willing to go down this far south because of, you know, as I've said many times, how dangerous this part of Pyrrhion is. So the Venators recommended you three, due to your variety of experience. Boars, for obvious reasons, since you've been to Boira itself on expeditions before and have dealt with it, you know, in your own ways, which we'll get to. And all expenses have been paid for, all travel expenses, and the offer of 600 silver coins each from the Charcoalers Guild seemed like a fairly solid subsidy, since you guys are able to, and with the help of the Venators, kind of bargain a pretty good deal considering how many people and mercenaries aren't willing to go this far south, and sort of basically are being paid for figuring out what's happened with Lastfen and perhaps solving whatever issues have arisen. So as you guys are making your way down here, as you're sort of going through this sucking bog, we'll just do a quick character intro, just to remind the audience of who you are, because everybody has already seen you if they've seen your episodes. So we don't need to do a huge long thing, just a quick kind of recap about your character, and we can start with Martin.
So, I am playing Orin Sedali, and he is a man who enjoys his food and wine. He's a bit large, doesn't move very quickly. He is a kind of, I'm not going to call him a noble kind of guy. He's dressed in very fine clothes, large, very fine clothes, and has some sort of gold chains and rings and things on, and he's your typical kind of trader and merchant kind of guy. And I'm going to say that I don't think that 600 silver pieces, well, it's a generous sum, would particularly be of interest for him to go all the way down past Ashtown and so on. But I'd like to think that his real motive for sort of coming here is some of this fine wine that you can only find in the regions. I think
Absolutely.
His belly is calling him more than anything else.
And one thing, too, for Orin as well is that, it's a known thing that there's a lot of weird artifacts and strange things that have been found in Boira from this area. So I know with your character who's a bit of a purveyor of certain items, that sort of thing, that would also be something your character would know is like, oh, there might be a chance. Who knows what could be found down here.
Very fine goods. If you ever need anything, he can probably find it, or someone who can find it. Steal it, whatever.
Perfect. Heather.
Hi, everybody. I'm playing a necromancer and artful companion named Amathelia Vex. She is accompanied by 3 figures who are in long, heavily embroidered velvet robes, and they keep their heads pulled down all the time. Not big talkers, but they always do exactly what she asks. And when you see them act for her, you'll notice that they have hands that are probably belonging to the undead. This is what she does, and she never loses a friend. And her background is that of a courtesan, so she is finely dressed. But she changed careers to become a necromancer, and is also interested in the items that could potentially be found in Lost Fen.
Perfect. And Dan.
Yeah, hello. I'm playing Bors, also known as Bors the Bastard. He's kind of a veteran soldier, recently returned from an early retirement. He's probably interested in this journey, I think, because he was part of a failed expedition into Boira, and he was a sole survivor and leader of that expedition, and he's been plagued with nightmares and hallucinations since then. And he thinks maybe the only way to get rid of these visions is to go back to Boira and kind of set things right, or die trying, maybe. He's kind of at the end of his rope, kind of a thing. So, yeah.
Perfect. All right. So before we continue with anything, do you guys have any questions? Like I said, we can you can ask Geller here, who's piloting this little punt that you guys are on. We can also sort of recon any questions you might have asked of the Charcoalers Guild while you were in Ashtown before you set off on your journey, if there's any sort of extra details, or if you need me to sort of reiterate anything I've already said, since I gave you guys quite a bit of information there in one go.
Yeah, so all we know really is that 2 shipments have not.
Yeah, they have not missed a shipment in about 10 years, and so this is a lot of the dyes and things that they need Ashtown uses for a lot of their wealthier kind of clients and that sort of thing, and just so the big thing here more than anything from the vibe you got was more that they're more concerned about the economical losses than anything that might have actually happened to Last Fen, but they're still yeah. We need you to fix whatever's going on over there because we need this stuff to sell and that sort of thing.
And there have been no refugees of any kind.
No. From what you know, Geller is one of the only ones from Ashtown that tends to actually go down there at all for helping with cargo and that sort of thing. They seem to load up their own cargo, ship it up, and then they leave with whatever they take from Ashtown, whatever supplies and that sort of thing, and then head back down. Other than Geller, it's not actually entirely known where exactly Last Fen is. They like it that way. They want to sort of keep themselves isolated from a lot of other communities, and also people who go down here get lost all the time and never return. just because of how like foggy and horrid the marsh is. That yeah. So yeah.
So how often were these shipments? I guess like how often has it been since anyone's heard from town?
About a month.
Or-
About a month. Yeah, because they basically have a shipment every 2 weeks. That they like I said that they've never missed. So after one shipment, they're like, oh, maybe something happened, and then after two, it's like, okay, something has definitely like gone wrong here.
Are we on foot then?
No, you're on a punt. You're on like a little sort of basically on a boat that is like
I'm
sort of has like a flat bottom that you use that you sort of push with the pole. So Geller's the one who's pushing with the pole, and you guys are just on it. This is like a bigger one used for cargo. So it's I imagine like the zombies are sitting down maybe like in the middle or something, and you three are either standing or sitting in other parts of it. But like it's just basically a long wooden sort of square rectangle kind of boat.
I have the zombies on the back, and I'm teaching them a very simple dance step.
I mean, honestly, to ward away boredom was probably not the worst thing to do. Yeah, you guys basically took like a bigger boat down through this like smaller river over here, and from there you guys got on the punt. So it went from like Ashtown boat and then smaller boat, and now you're sort of going through the marshes. And it should be about 6 hours from here to get to Lasven.
Is there like wildlife? You know, are we talking alligators?
Yeah.
And all this
Yeah,
all
Geller-
these sorts of things.
Geller lets you know there's fungal crabs, which are like these giant crabs that have sort of like fungus that sort of grow off of their carapace. There are swamp squids that usually hunt in this area. There's venomous colossal eels, all kinds of different fish, bugs. There's a whole ecosystem here.
Right on. Okay,
And it is very dangerous for that fact. So they try to move on the boat because they can still get attacked. But overall, like if you fall in, you want to get back on a boat very quickly. Is the kind of vibe Geller tells you guys.
How long is it going to be, Geller?
How long from here? About another 6 hours or so. We'll just be moving through here. We should get there before nightfall.
Well, I suppose there's nothing more to do here than sit and watch the surroundings, says Orin, and he pulls out a pipe and starts smoking it, hopefully keeping the insects away.
Yeah, I'd say you're like swatting mosquitoes away, little gnats, that kind of thing. It's definitely definitely a very lush ecosystem here that you're dealing with in the most annoying ways possible. I imagine, depending on what you're doing, Amethelia, there's probably a lot of bugs that are sort of congregating on your zombies.
Yeah. So I have them in a circle fanning each other because that's only going to make them rot faster if the insects get in them. And,
Yeah.
She knows the insects are inevitable, but, trying to keep this off as much. So they're like in a triangle fan.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, so they're all in a triangle doing that.
Boris pulls out a pipe as well and asks Orin for some tobacco or some weed smoke, whatever. I don't know what it is that gets smoked in these things, but he looks like he has the good stuff.
He does. Well, okay then. I'm sure you can help me out. And he gestures for the pipe.
I hand it over, and it's like a very, very simple. I'm picturing Orin's as maybe, I don't know, a little ornate, maybe having some carvings or something. This one's simple. This is something that Boris made himself and carved. Simple but elegant, in its own way. And he also pulls out a small flask and takes a big sip and offers it to both Orin and Amethelia.
Amethelia will take a sip.
Orin will grab the flask and take a sip. Ah,
It's like a brown liquor sort of thing. I don't know, whiskey. I would imagine whiskey's everywhere. Whiskey's a thing in every world, of course.
Absolutely.
The true universal constant.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he takes the pipe and knocks out any remains in it from before and takes a look at it. Says, interesting. Holds it to his ear. Can't hear anything, and then stuffs a bit of tobacco in there for you. Turns the pipe around and there we go. Thank you for the drink. He says.
Cocks his head when he sees him listen to the pipe and takes it back and lights it up, takes a big draw off the pipe and kind of just nods slowly in enjoyment.
Only the finest. I I managed to get this batch from I don't know, one-legged trader in Voltimiria, I think it was.
One-legged, you say?
One-legged. Chap
One
had an
big
amazing
leg,
story.
one big leg, or one missing leg.
One missing leg.
I guess I was saying that there are also a class of traders that just do have one big leg that they hop around and sell stuff. It's just like a giant bag and just sort of
Mono-leg.
that's down the canon.
Amathelia is going to ask Geller what Last Fin is like what kind of, who is it ruled by? Do people get to vote, to get a sense of what the town is like?
Yeah, so he says that Lastfen is honestly a very wealthy town. It sort of came to prominence probably about like 15 years ago or so. Like it was around before then, but like it wasn't doing super hot. But about 15 years ago, it started being able to, get a lot better harvesting. A lot of their berries and everything else they were getting, much better at. So it's run by a guy called Barjan Vlad, who's apparently a wizard who they sort of give a lot of their, he's the mayor. He's like a sort of like wizard mayor as they call it, that they're just kind of like, basically everything that we have is because of him. He, with his concoctions and everything else, he's helped us sort of make a better town is how the town people see it. And so now they have basically it's still a very small village, but he says every townhouse is made of stone. They're on like these giant stilts that keep them, off like the marsh, so that they're, nice and dry. They've even sort of like terraformed the land a little bit. So even though it's still marshy, it's now drier. There's like actual grass and dirt and mud, and not just like the tall grasses you guys are seeing around you and water. And says, yeah, so they have that, they have all the accommodations they need. They have like a stables, and they have like a stonemason, they have blacksmith, all the kind of stuff. So they have basically everything they need because they're able to sort of be completely self-sufficient as they need it. He's not from there. He's from Ashtown, but he goes there all the time for these kinds of things when it comes to, helping them out with certain shipments and that sort of stuff. And so he hasn't been there in about, I think he says like about 2 months or so. But the shipments stopped about a month ago.
Is there any kind of black market? Because I've found wherever there's trade, there's a black market that parallels it. Do you know of any kind of black market that was active in Lastfen?
He says not Lastfen, but one of the places you guys are going to pass, the Weddle Farm, which are a group of farmers who actually basically make their own whiskey. Funnily enough, you guys mentioning whiskey earlier. They make whiskey with a special kind of corn that's only grown in this region. And the thing is, they are not licensed by the Brava Consortium, which is like the big sort of like alcohol guild, mob, whatever you want to call them, corporation out of Getterlung. So they're out here because they can't really be found. And he does mention like it's kind of an open secret, and not even that much of a secret really at this point, that when the shipments from Lastfen come through, they load up some of their whiskey to be sold to basically a lot of higher ups across Pyrrhion. It's a sort of whiskey that's like just very, very hard to get, and they're very hard to find because like the corn only grows here. So that's what they do. They distill it. They grow the corn and then they distill it.
What is the name of the bootleggers?
The Weddles.
Their location.
Yeah.
What is it?
Weddle, Weddle.
Weddle whiskey. Okay.
And so yeah, whenever the shipments come from Lastfen, like up, like from the south, they just load it up, and they sort of have like a bit of a relationship. Geller says like he's been to the Weddle farm. He doesn't really like going there because of like the business they're in terms of like, being kind of incognito and everything. They're not very nice people. But he's had to go there a few times for a various number of reasons. So he says we can make a stop there to see if they know anything that's going on. But he also says like he doesn't really prefer, but he is wary. So he wants to let you guys know like, seeing Venators there might not be the best thing, but at the same time they could be of a lot of use if they do know anything that might have happened, because they don't really interact with the outside world outside of these shipments and some of their dealings with Lastfen.
Bors kind of looks at, they're having this conversation, and he says, I don't think I want to go wandering around in the swamp trying to find some bootleggers still. That doesn't usually turn out very well.
Yeah, and Geller says like I know where to go to get there if that does worry you. Like I won't get us lost. I know this marsh very well, but at the same time, like I said, yeah, if you don't feel comfortable going there, I don't blame you for that.
Bors kind of consents.
Yeah, I'm comfortable going. I think it'd be a good idea if we hide our Venator symbols going up there, so no need to cause trouble from the very first. They might have some useful information, might be worth it, or they might at least have some kind of warning to offer us if they've seen anything.
Yeah. So it says, yeah, if you guys want, we can swing by there and just by their dock and see what they think. See how you guys are feeling once we get there. It's like I said, it's basically on the way there anyway, so we can take it. It's not even that much of a detour to go there.
That sounds cool.
Okay.
I'm assuming if we pick something up along the way, you wouldn't mind taking it back for us. You know, some goods we might happen to buy along the way.
Boars nods solemnly again.
Yeah, funnily enough, yeah, I'd say because Martin, especially with your character and in terms of what he consumes and the stuff he knows, like he once this is mentioned to him, he's like you immediately like, oh, this is where that whiskey's made. That which is, as you know, is mostly reserved for very rich people because again, no one wants to get on the bad side of the Brava Consortium if they can help it because they're incredibly powerful and very scary. But also it's very good whiskey that is not like anywhere else. It's kind of like a very expensive Isla Scotch of this kind of region of just like, okay, you can't. There's nowhere else quite like it that makes this. Yeah. So, are there any other questions you guys had for Geller or anything else you guys want to mention as you guys are sort of going through the marsh here?
Yeah, I think Orin keeps looking over at the zombies and they're doing this kind of fanning thing. Then he says to Amathelia, "I'm a little bit concerned. They're dead, I'm assuming. If they keep flexing their wrists, is one of the hands going to fall off at some point?"
No, they only if they're really damaged in battle or through some sort of misadventure will that happen. They will continue to rot, but it's at an extremely slow pace, so they'll be fine. They'll be fine.
Okay.
And you can always make more. And she smiles. I have resisted the temptation to see if there's any dead fish floating in the water and then have them just swim by us very gently.
No, I think it's a fun little thing. Just a little quick little art where, yeah, you just see like a little fish that just sort of on its side that just sort of slowly turns. Like maybe it turns upside down and just sort of swimming along with the boat. I love it. Yeah, so as you guys are going down here, basically the only sounds really are like the sounds of like some bird calls and like the soft splashing of the pole pushing you guys along very slowly. Basically, as far as the eye can see, is mostly just like black water under like surrounding your boat, these tall reeds, and just a lot of that fog that makes it very hard to see. Who's in the more front of the boat? Like it's a very small boat, but it's imagine like almost like a basically like a big flat canoe. So you kind of have like seats sort of ranged through. Who would you guys say is like in the front seats? You can do like 2x2 basically. So would you?
I will just say that I think Boris is kind of keeping his distance from the zombies. So I don't know if that would mean he'd be up there or in the back or what that would mean exactly.
They're in the back.
They're in the back, yeah. So they're in the back with Geller, who's like pushing the pole, who's like, oh god, kind of keeping a little bit away from them. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess he'd probably be trying to stay as far away from them as possible.
Okay, so you're probably in the front then. Is anybody else in the front, or are the rest of you in the middle? What would you guys say?
Well, I'm back with the zombies. So,
yeah.
I think Orin's probably behind Boars, but
okay,
not as
sounds
far
good.
Back as Amathelia.
Yeah. So Boars and Orin, do you guys want to give me notice checks? Damn. Okay, so that's a 12 for Orin.
Wow.
And a 3 for Boars. the duality, yeah. Yeah, Boars, you're just like swatting bugs away.
I'm drinking the whiskey. This is all. It's like I'm on vacation here. That's great.
It's also quite peaceful and nice. It is actually it's beautiful in a very creepy way, But yeah, so you're having a pretty good time.
I've been to the Everglades. It's beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. It's very much like that. So Orin, you notice just off to like the left, you see what's mostly just been reeds and water. You do see what looked like 2 large poles shooting up into view. They seem to be like behind some reeds to your left and in the front there, but they stand out because basically everything else has looked pretty much the same, and these have sort of caught your attention. They're very hard to see. You mostly just see like the silhouette of them, and Geller hasn't seemed to notice. He seems to just keep pushing the bow along, kind of keeping his distance as much as he can from the zombies. Is there anything you want to do here?
Geller, what are those?
Geller looks over and I'm not sure what those are. Strange seeing anything out here though. I can bring the boat closer to it if you want.
Slowly, cautiously, I think.
Yeah, and so he starts pushing like against some like the mud and down against some of the reeds and starts moving the boat off sort of diagonally towards this. As you get closer, it appears to be what looked like two very like slimy sort of what look like spears with like this like slimy green white moss covering them. And it looks like they've impaled what looks like this large pinkish white squid with these tentacles that are like longer than the boat you guys are in. You see this like purple black ink sort of seeping out of the wounds, sort of flowing into the reeds and the water. It looks like it's still twitching somewhat. Like you see the tentacles once in a while sort of twitch a little bit, move, give a bit of a jitter.
Amethelia is quite naturally attracted to this. So it looks like it's not quite dead yet.
Yeah.
What a shame. Well, I suppose, what do you think, we should try to help it?
Boris gives her a look like, "Are you insane?"
I've been tested. Okay. And then she'll just sit back down.
Oh, well, hang on. I think we should try and work out if we can identify where these spears have come from.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, Orin, if you say that, Geller kind of like moves up the boat a little bit and sort of goes next to you and looks through. He says, "Oh," he kind of takes it like a big inhale and says, "Oh, those look like those belong to moss hunters. They're these sort of plant people here who kind of hunt throughout the marsh. They usually just prey upon squids, fish, other animals. They tend to leave people alone, but they don't make many qualms about hunting us too. It's best if that looks pretty fresh. It's best if we don't hang around too much.
Yeah, I agree.
They're pretty hard to spot in the water. It's weird though. They don't really kill for sport. I don't know why the squid's still here. They usually harvest pretty much everything they can off of them."
I was wondering the same thing. It's a fresh kill. Why leave it?
Yeah, I
Need a warning?
it could be. It's very strange. I haven't really seen their spears in a while. They tend to, it takes a while for them to make these, so they don't want to lose them. Because I mean, these aren't like nice like spears or anything by the standards of what you guys have, but you can tell they are very large, very sturdy. The way that the grooves are and everything, like it does look like they're pretty sharp. They have like these sort of like almost like a harpoon kind of end, like a big barb. It does look like for any sort of creature that lives in the water, making something like this is probably not an easy feat. And he just kind of says like, I think we should keep. I trust you guys to be able to defend the boat if we need to, but I'd prefer to not have any run-ins we don't have to. Yeah. So, is there anything else you guys want to do here? Is there anything you want to check out here? Is there, like, before Geller pushes off? I just don't want to go too fast if you guys have any thoughts or ideas or anything.
No, Boris is okay with moving on, but I don't know if Orin wanted to investigate further at all.
No, I think the warning's good enough.
Sounds good. So Geller sort of pushes off and keeps moving the boat. And he says, "All right, you guys. This is about 2 hours in." And he's like, "All right, another hour or so, we'll get to the Weddle farm." And about an hour or so in, you guys do see the silhouette off to the right of what looks like a sort of a lazily spinning windmill. It looks very weird in this because all you're seeing is just the reeds and water around you, and then just out of like the fog there, you just see this spinning windmill. It looks very weird in the context of this place. And he says that there's the Weddle farm. I'll go find their dock. And I'd say dock is a pretty generous term for what's here. It's basically like a wooden pallet, that you'd find like in a warehouse. That's just sort of kind of what looks like it's sort of like stuck in like the mud and reeds and sort of tied down. It has like a bunch of stuff there. And right up next to it, tied up, is this it looks like a very greasy, shallow canoe tied up to it. There is a spot for your boat to tie up to it. You see the dock is completely fully covered by the big reeds that go up very high, but you can see directly behind it these 8-foot tall corn stalks. So you guys haven't gone on the dock yet, but from the boat you can see that it looks like there's a path directly from the dock into this sort of dark, foggy route flanked by cornfields. And Geller just quickly ties up. He says, "So do you guys want to go in there?"
Sure. If you wouldn't mind introducing us, since you're acquainted with them.
Yeah. I can do that. That's probably for the best. I was gonna stay with the boat, but I think it's best if you guys don't go in there as strangers. You might it might cause a bit of a ruckus. He sort of ties up the boat and jumps off.
Boars kind of steps off the boat and looks at the cornfields and the windmill in the background and says, "Looks inviting."
Yeah. Yeah, he says, yeah, it's not the happiest place to be. It's very like Boris is a tall guy, and these corn stalks like tower over you.
Reminds me of the Autumn Day Festival where they scare children jumping out of the corn.
Yeah. Geller says, "Do you want to go first with me, Boris? You're no offense to anybody else, but you're a bit more imposing than." He sort of looks over towards Orin.
Of course, I take I don't know. I guess I take my shield and my warhammer. I don't know. Yeah, maybe it isn't. I guess we are in a town, but it just seems creepy as all hell. So,
yeah.
He kind of arms himself, gets his weapons out.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, so from here with you guys all in the dock and sort of like move forward a little bit, you can see like the cornfields kind of go off into view because the fog makes it so hard to see that far anyway. So you just see like the silhouette of the cornfield still going off to the left and right. Did you guys want to move through the cornfield? Did you want to just move through the open route? It's like a very like claustrophobic kind of like one person, two person dirt sort of route through the corn stalks here. So are you guys moving through that?
Yeah, well, Amathelia thinks it's a bad idea to potentially damage their corn since it's so valuable to them. So she'll take the path.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Orin thinks it's a good idea not to be trying to look like we're sneaking up on them.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that was a suggestion from Geller saying that, but if it was, Boris just like, no, we're taking the path.
Yeah. No, that was more of a me thing, so I just want to make sure you guys are able to do what you want here. Yeah. No. But yeah, Geller's like, hey, do you want to go open their back door and stab, their livestock? No. So yeah, you guys move down this path. I would say that like it's almost like Boars, you and Geller are kind of like not right next to each other. It's almost like you're sort of in the front, maybe he takes the front every once in a while because it's so tight. You guys are just kind of like moving through where it's like 1.5 people wide.
I got you. Yep. Yeah, I'll lead the way, no problem.
But before we leave the punt, Amathelia is going to tell Bitch Tits, Poker Face, and Slappy to guard the boat until we get back.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, so your zombies are going to stay with the boat. Perfect. Yeah, and they'll guard it. Okay, so as you guys move through, you guys are sort of swishing past the corn there. Amathelia, you almost trip a little bit as your foot kind of squishes down on something, and you look down and see that there is a severed hand holding a dagger. There's like a pool of blood, and you just sort of stepped on it. You barely saw because it was like half in the corn, half on the path.
I say, gentlemen, I found something of personal interest here, but you might also be interested in it. And I pick it up because I'm not afraid to pick up body parts, And first I'll hold it like this for them to see, keep the dagger intact, everything.
Yeah. And
I'll ask Geller, do you recognize this as one of your Weddle?
He kind of goes like white in the face, and he's like, I wouldn't know by hand. And he's just seeing like the severed like fleshy part of the wrist.
Do you recognize the dagger, perhaps?
No, I don't recognize the dagger now. It's a very fine make dagger. Like you're looking at, like it looks like it has sort of like a silver end, like the handle looks like it's silver and leather, and that's like a steel blade.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
And I'll also see, can I enchant the hand to just walk by me?
I'll allow that just for a fun thing.
Okay.
Well, one thing you'll notice when you take the dagger out, one thing you notice that you would recognize the right way is that in the palm of the hand is a tattooed symbol of the Brava Consortium, which is the Getterlung alcohol mob conglomerate, whatever you want to call it.
I show that to everybody. So, well, now we understand why there's a hand here.
Yeah, and from that, looking around, you do notice that there are some corn stalks on the, like actual corn on the ground. There's like that have been smashed. There's clearly been some kind of scuffle here, as there's been a lot of the mud is moved around. Clearly something happened right in this field. There's blood sprayed on some of the plants and on the ground.
Geller What is the population of the Weddle farm?
Geller says, well, there's Vin the father, Mai the mother, and their twin 20-year-old daughters.
That's it.
Lily and Nessa. Yeah.
They no farm hands or anything like that.
No, they keep themselves pretty. They're, like I said, they're a bit of a weird bunch.
Understood.
We should be extra careful. Perhaps they're expecting more of these. We may not get much of a chance.
We don't want to be mistaken for the wrong party.
Yeah, Geller looks absolutely shaken up by this. This is not at all what he was expecting to. He's like, these people were weird, but like, that's not like, I haven't known them to kill anybody, and I don't know what's going on here.
Perhaps we should speed up. They could potentially be in trouble themselves. How old did the blood look? Was it dried? Was it relatively fresh?
The blood looks like it's probably about, that I'm not going to roll for this, blood pretty well as a necromancer who's like kind of enjoys it. I'd say probably week and a bit. You said the moisture here has probably kept it a little bit from like drying out the way it would in like somewhere like Valtameri, but like you can probably tell about a week and a bit.
Okay, sounds good. I tell everybody that.
Okay. Boris, you do notice that Geller now is fully behind you and kind of like pushing you along a little bit in the path when you guys pick up again, where he's like, okay, you go first.
Step right out in front.
Yeah.
Whatever. I have my shield, my hammer. Now I'm on full alert.
Yeah. You are noticing that Geller is like gripping, like he has like a little sort of like almost like a fish like filleting kind of knife. He's just gripping that on his belt the whole time, just white knuckling it. And you guys continue through for another little while, probably another few minutes. It's a pretty like long kind of path here.
Is it like a straight shot, or
pretty much like it seems like they have the cornfield. Like the cornfield is just on both sides. It seems like they have it very like surgical, where it's just like it's like this path goes almost like perfectly straight, which is why like as you go through, the fog kind of gives way as you go further into it, and you find yourself now at the end of this path. I imagine you're still sort of hiding like in like the cornfield a little bit here, not just going right out. But basically, you see this square, clear-cut piece of land containing a barn and windmill further back, the windmill that you guys saw earlier. And you can probably see a little bit on your path getting closer. And also right in the middle of like this square of land that's been clear cut is this large 2-story house just right there in the middle. However, Boris, what catches your eye immediately in front of you, attached to 3 poles, like very like macabre scarecrows, are 3 people missing everything except their chests and heads, with large spikes nailed through their eyes, holding them up to the poles. So you basically have like these 3 nubs. They're kind of like just in like a line, kind of facing you. Like they're just like in like the 3 of them are right there. Yeah.
Torsos with heads.
Yeah. Imagine basically just the head, just like the chest. Yeah, and like they've been nailed to the pole like through their eye sockets with like big iron nails.
I got you. Wow.
And they're pretty up. They're off the ground. Like these are like probably like 8-foot, 10-foot poles. Like they're pretty high up there.
Boris sees this and he spits on the ground and kind of looks behind him, and he tells Geller, he says, "This isn't something you want to see."
Yeah, Geller spots them and kind of just like he backs off back into the corner. He's like, oh, fuck. He's immediately like, he's not running, but you can tell he spots just the silhouettes of it as you say that, and he's just immediately kind of like falls backwards into you, Orin.
But perhaps we should announce ourselves and look a little less threatening.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Well, go on then.
Geller. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, Boris calls out.
Yeah, okay.
Hello!
Yes, you call out. One thing you do notice is that like it does sound like there are loud sounds coming from the barn and windmill in the back.
Okay.
However, you do hear what sounds like a chair screeching on a wooden floor from the main house here.
Which we're closer to the barn, and the windmill are kind of behind the house.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
And you see this sort of like dark figure appear in the second floor window, just like what looks like a very broad-chested older man. You can't really make out his features, but as soon as he looks through the window and sees you, you see him immediately turn, and you hear some clattering coming from the house.
Geller, perhaps you should announce yourself as they know you.
And he kind of comes out somewhat meekly as he sees the bodies. He's like, what the fuck is going on? Okay. Vin, it's me, Geller. And you see the windmill stops moving, and you do see that it seems like you see some sort of movement coming from one of the windows in the windmill on the first floor, but nothing from there yet. And as that happens, the door to the house opens, and a man with a pistol in one hand and a big axe in the other steps out. You see his eyes sort of look like starry voids, like they're completely black, and like there's almost like light, almost like you're looking at like the night sky in his eyes. And he just says, like, kind of almost like slurring as he sort of stumbles, "Come to kidnap more of my daughters, huh? Oh, I'll show you." And he points the gun and just fires off, and like it's wild off into like the corn, and you see him sort of stop and kind of get on one knee, and it looks like he's sort of trying to like sort of fix himself a little bit. He's moving like he's completely drunk. You're just noticing like his skin looks strange, like it's all white and very like almost like stretched across his bones. He does not look well, and Geller has just jumped for the ground. He says, "Vin, what are you doing?" And we'll go into combat here, guys, as you guys do hear the noises from the barn and the windmill stop. Yep. So who has the most initiative, or who has the highest initiative? Which is your dex, and you might also have an ability that might help with that. I don't know if any of you guys do.
I do not have an ability, but I have a 15 dex.
15 dex, 14.
I'm a 14.
And
An 8 dex.
okay, yeah. So if you want, Dan, if you want to roll me a D8 plus 1. Okay, so you guys go first. Is there anything you guys want to do here? This guy is just sort of like moving around. You're not sure what's going on with the movement in the other buildings, but this guy's firing straight at your party now, or trying to at least.
Any other dead bodies? Any other dead bodies around?
No, you just see these three tied up on these, or hammered into these poles here.
That's too bad. No, go ahead, Boris.
Boris is a bit confused. I don't think he's seen anything like this before. You know, Geller is saying it's this guy Vin, who we are here to like, I guess, help. But yeah, I don't know. Can I just like just run up and like knock him to the ground with my shield, and just to like get him to like stop firing?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you can reach him.
More of an incapacitation kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Non-lethal damage kind of thing.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say you can even probably use your warhammer and probably just move it, like switch it around if you want him with your shield and him with the warhammer. You're trying to like beat him.
Use the pommel of it or something. You know, like try to knock him out or down or whatever. Okay, cool. So yeah, I guess I'll just
give me an attack roll.
Cool. Oops.
Okay. I mean, 10 will hit. I mean, he's basically just like in a farmer's outfit. Like he's got like some overalls on basically. So yeah, he fires off and you immediately book it towards him and just like hit him across the face with your hammer and shield and just sort of knock him to the ground. He looks like he's still going, but he's like severely hurt, but not like, you know, you probably broke his nose in or something as he's just on the ground now. And as that happens, you see the barn doors and the windmill door open. From the barn, you see two girls, probably about 20, coming out with daggers in their hands. And you see from the barn, sort of middle-aged woman with a pitchfork in her hand coming out. You can see all of them seem to have the same kind of starry void eyes as they kind of like saunter towards you. They do not seem to be moving the same way he does. They seem to be moving like normal people as much as they can, where they're starting to like move and run towards you guys, whereas like he was just kind of like falling over himself. And so it's not their turn yet, it's still all your guys' turn. So what do you guys want to do?
They seem to be under some sort of spell or entranced or something.
Doubt they're going to listen to reason. I'll pull 2 daggers.
Okay.
I don't really have any spells that aren't going to do more damage than we want to these guys.
Orange shades. Whoa, hang on a minute. And I think he's going to try and grab a flask of water and just chuck it over this guy to try and sort of shock him out of whatever's bugging him.
Yeah, I would say just give me like a dexterity check for the throw there, or if you have a range attack there, you can just roll a range attack and we'll.
Water hits him, eyes clear. He's completely normal.
Yeah. I would say like Boris, you're able to just put your shield up right away because this is about to like sail right your face, and you're able to sort of put the shield up and it just smashes off of your shield as he.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Question: This is a farm. What's laying around on the ground?
What's like?
There's
Yeah.
always stuff laying around on the ground.
Oh yeah, there's probably like sorts of tools and all sorts of things like wheelbarrows, whatever else. There's probably all kinds of like random rope and hammers, nails, that sort of thing. Whatever you could think of, if there's anything that like comes to mind, that would make
Okay.
sense. Is there anything?
I'm gonna move. I'm gonna move towards the wife. I'll take her.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, is there? So they're about 2 turns away. So are you gonna move double to get to her, or are you just gonna try and just move once and just sort of stay within range of your compatriots?
I'm not moving towards her. She's my target.
Yeah.
I'm designating my target. When she gets here,
Sounds good.
then we'll introduce ourselves.
We'll see what happens. Yeah, okay. All right, yeah. So on their turn, the guy on the ground that you just hit, he's just sort of like bleeding from his nose, and he's like, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you, you big bastard. And he swings his axe at you, Boars. Okay, natural 20, of course.
Look at what he's doing. Look at what he's doing.
Of course, I get a natural fucking 20 on that.
Wasabi cheats.
Yeah. You're gonna take 4 damage, Boars, as his axe sort of you get your hammer like off of like the water that's supposed to hit you, and you don't get downtime as he puts an axe like right into your side, and he's like and as you see like blood starts trickling down off of like the axe wound, and you see him trying to like lick the axe, like trying to lick the blood off of the axe.
Creep.
And the other 3 move towards you guys, and the 2 daughters say almost like in unison towards you, Orin, like, your flesh looks extra delicious. You'll make for great jerky tonight, as they move towards you. But the mother and the 2 girls, they can't quite reach you guys. They're going to use their turn just to get over towards you. But they're now in reach of you guys. Like I said, the 2 girls have daggers, and the mother has a pitchfork.
Does the mother look injured at all?
No, not really. Like, she looks fine. Like, she looks kind of beat up in terms of, like, you know, farm life is tough. You get kind of whatever, but, like, she looks, like, fine to you.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, it's back to you guys.
There's no, like, strict turn order, like anybody can go first or whatever, right? Is that how it goes?
Yep, it's your side than their side.
I mean, I'm probably going to try to... I want to try to, like, incapacitate this guy still.
Yeah.
I was going to try to maybe tie him up, but I think I need to, like, I don't know. Get him
He's
unconscious.
severely hurt from your first hit. If you get a good hit here, there's a very good chance you can probably just knock him out right now.
Okay, I'll just try that then.
Nice.
Let's go.
Okay, yeah, you are able to sort of like just slam your shield like over and over to his head just enough to like really bam, like he's just, his face is fully open to you as he's trying to like lick your blood, and then you just knock him back, and he's just kind of there, incapacitated. He looks like he's severely hurt, but he looks like he's not gonna die anytime soon. I mean, unless you know he's just left here, but right now he seems fine. So he's out of the fight. Okay, what about the other 2?
When the woman gets here, I'll attack her. So I guess I'm just holding until.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
She gets there.
Yeah, she'll get to you on her turn. You can reach her now, so when she gets to you on your turn, you can do whatever you want. I'll go back to you. So you can just hold your turn there. What about you, Martin?
Mm-hmm.
What about the 2 daughters? How far away?
They're head straight for you. They're within reach of you. They will be within reach of you this turn.
Right.
On their turn. So you can reach them, they can reach you.
Yep. So I think Oren will pick up a blunt-looking thing from the floor. So I'm guessing there's probably some sort of pitchfork or something. And rather than sort of stab them with a pitchfork, he's just going to try and sort of bonk them on the head with the tangs. Yeah. One of them anyway.
Sounds good, yeah.
And this is going to go badly wrong because he's absolutely rubbish at fighting.
You can probably just roll your dagger there if you want, and we'll just
yeah,
that'll probably work.
Sounds good.
It's basically gonna do the same amount of damage.
So he's definitely going for that. Come on. Oh no.
Yeah, they don't have a high AC, but 5 is not enough, unfortunately.
No.
But you will do shock damage. So you do bonk one of them, and she's like, "That hurt. I'm going to enjoy stabbing you and seeing you bleed."
Stay away.
Is that everybody? Or
Yeah.
oh right, okay. So the mother, we'll just do the mother first, so you can go, Heather. The mother runs at you with the pitchfork, trying to impale you. Is there anything you're doing right before she does that?
Yeah, I'll wait till she gets really close, and then I'll suddenly step away.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I would say give me a
Evasion or
yeah. Give me an evasion save, and then I'll lower her attack. Okay, success. Nice.
Nice.
So I'll give her a penalty to her attack at you. 8. I don't think it's gonna be enough to hit your AC. Correct.
correct.
Okay, yeah. So you just get out of the way, and she just runs way too far past you, and like the pitchfork hits the ground, and she pulls it back out and swings back around towards you. Okay, and the 2 daughters are going to attack you, Orin.
Ooh.
That one's not going to hit. And that one probably is going to hit, I'm assuming.
Yep, AC 18.
Yeah.
Hits.
So the one you hit, she's going to do 3 damage to you, and she sort of like just stabs like right into. I'm going to say she goes for maybe like the arm that you stabbed her with, and she's like, "Yes, more blood must come from you." As she sort of pulls the knife up like through your arm, and you see her like trying to like bite down onto your arm. So, Bard's face right now. Yeah, back to you guys.
Okay, I'll go ahead and stab at the wife.
Okay. Yeah.
So
is that 5 damage, isn't it?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
5 plus 1. Yeah.
Yeah, so you are using a dagger. Will, you just sort of like, as she runs back towards you, you get her right in the heart, and she just goes down immediately, dead right away. You see, as she's looking up, like, towards you, like, she still has the starry void eyes that are just open.
Keep an eye on her eyes. Do they stay that way through the beginning, middle, and end of her death?
Yeah, it seems like as, like, her life just goes from her from, like, the moment you hit her heart, they have not left. They're staying there. Yeah.
Okay.
Boars and Orin?
Boris wants to run in, and I want to try to, like, knock these 2 away from Orin so that like they can't get to him.
Yeah.
You know, like they can't attack him next turn. I want to kind of insert myself in there.
Yeah, I'd say give me like a strength exert check maybe. To sort of
exert.
Yeah, exert strength, and you can run in, sort of like try and boulder into them. Damn.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Nice.
As she's like about to bite down onto your wound, Martin, you just see like a freight train of steel kind of just slam into these 2, shoving them both back away, and then Boars is directly in front of you, between you and the 2 creepy girls.
God, thank you. And he's going to try and again bonk the same one with the pitchfork.
I imagine like you're doing it like over Boars' head, where you're like,
He's disgusted. It's very kind of arm's length.
yeah.
Oh, he's probably going to miss. Because that's what he does.
Oh damn it! It was on a 19 on my end. Yeah. So that is another shock damage on the. I'm assuming you're hitting the same one who stabbed you, who's already hurt. Yeah. Yes. You bonk her again as she's pushed backwards, and she's still up, but doesn't look good. She now looks like pretty bruised as you like hit her twice now over the head. And is that everybody's turn this turn?
Yeah, I stabbed the mom.
Okay, right. So, okay, yeah. So they're gonna run. I'm going to assume that Boars. I'm assuming that you basically took like a screener ally action that turn. I'm gonna say.
Without knowing the term, that is what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah, totally.
I just want to see because there's a rule for that. I just want to make sure how to get through that. Okay, cool. Yeah, so one daughter's just gonna go for you, the one who hasn't been stabbed. She's gonna go for you, Boars. So she's gonna attack you with her dagger. Natural 1. Just bounces right off you. The other one is saying, "You're keeping me from my meal. I'm gonna get him," and she's gonna try and get past you. So this is going to be an opposed strength check, strength or dex. But I'm assuming you're gonna use strength. So I think your strength's pretty good.
I'm a little better at strength than dex by 1.
So it's strength, and for you, be strength stab because if you want,
Okay.
yeah, because it uses the skill that your weapon is based off of. So if you want to give me a strength stab skill or strength stab check, yeah. Okay, I'm fairly sure she can't get that at all because she only has. Actually, no, she might be able to here if she gets 2 6s. No, it does not. Yeah, so she tries to. You see her like kind of like scramble in the mud and trying to like get a dagger into Orin, and you just easily like just slam her backwards away from you and Orin.
Nice.
Okay, I think that's all of them. The dad's knocked out. They both try to stab you. Well, the mom's dead.
I'm gonna follow through immediately and attack that one that tried to get, just in the same exchange. I push her back and then I go in with my warhammer.
Sounds good. Are you aiming to kill or aiming to subdue?
I'm aiming to subdue.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually I hit her again with like the pommel of the
Sounds good. If you do a shitload of damage here, this might kill her, but we'll see how you do.
Fair enough. Heard that.
Okay, that's definitely gonna hit.
Uh-oh.
Okay, yeah. So
her skull just caves in.
yeah, so that's 9 damage. Yeah, you're trying to like be like, okay, I got the dad pretty good. This girl's like 110 pounds maybe, and you just come down. This poor 20-year-old just fucking. Yeah, so she's dead, and the other one hasn't been hurt yet. Is like, you killed my sister. I'm going to kill you now.
It was an accident. And to be fair, she was talking about drinking our blood.
But your blood is probably so sweet, and I'm sure yours is too. And so the sister's dead.
Creepy voice you're doing there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amethelia is gonna turn to the mother's corpse and say, "Go do something about your daughters," and cast Raise Corpse.
Amazing. And just make sure, because I want to make sure we don't. Will that release your other guys at all, or are you able to keep hold of them? I just want to make sure. Raise corpse. I think it should be good.
Oh, it cannot have more active subjects of this spell than their character level. So if I'm 4th level, I can do this. If I'm 3rd level, I can't.
Yeah, because you already have 3. Just want to make.
So
Yeah, I
if
just
I'm
want to make
3rd
sure.
level, then-
Yeah.
No,
Here.
I know what I'm going to do. Actually, if I can't do that, there's actually something more helpful that I could do,
Oh,
which is query the skull.
I'm actually wrong about that, because you did command the dead on the other undead, so you can do raise
Oh,
corpse
that's
on
right.
her.
They were already dead. That's
Yeah,
right,
so
they were
you
already
command the dead on
Yeah.
them, and then you did raise corpse on her, so you can have her
Yep.
and the other 3. So yeah,
Okay.
perfect. Yeah.
Go do something about your daughters.
Yeah. So, so this woman, this zombie woman gets up. She still has those weird voidy eyes. They look maybe a little bit dimmer now or something, but they're still there. And she turns and runs with a pitchfork in hand and goes to attack her daughter.
And I tell everybody, she's with us now. It's okay. She's with the band.
That is going to hit. 2, not gonna kill, but yeah, so she stabs into her daughter's belly. This is so fucked up. Oren, is there anything you want to do in this situation? That's
Oren looks absolutely horrified and goes, "There's only one kind thing to do in this situation," and just let's rip with the pitchfork, but not the tangs this time. He's going full thrust.
sounds good. Yeah, give me your attack. Oh Jesus!
And of course,
But 1 shock damage is gonna be enough to kill her. So you do give her like the killing blow. That is, it's very very weakly. It's almost like when you're punching in a dream kind of thing. But you do get her right like in the chest. You put her out of her. I mean, I was gonna say put her out of her misery, but she seems pretty happy with how her life is going. So
Yeah.
you just put her down, I guess. The father is still knocked out on the ground. His whole family has been murdered, or at least not murdered, killed in self-defense. Murdered in self-defense.
If the mom is still there stabbing with the pitchfork because I haven't told her not to, I'm assuming she is. So I'm going to say, come back over here.
Yeah.
Stay by me.
Amazing. Perfect. Yeah, so I will just make you a new stat block there for an extra person. And you can give her a new name. I'll just call her Maya for now until you have a name you want to give her. Jesus Christ.
But trumpet.
Butt trumpet.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, you can change it there. Just the my there. She should be under your control now. You can change it. Dan, did you say you wanted to do something?
Boars he kind of steps away and goes about like cleaning the pommel of his war hammer off.
Yeah.
He's kind of disgusted with what like just happened.
Yeah.
He was, he says something along the lines of, what if this family was simply ensorcelled and not permanently cursed? He's kind of mumbling to himself and maybe hearing some responses in his own head.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you do have the misfortune of seeing a very similar or a familiar face that you're used to seeing during times like this, Boars, that the others can't see. But the tall, gaunt figure of Kath kind of puts his arm right on your shoulder, and he's like, another job well done, buddy. You really, really nailed another one here. You're a real hero, and he kind of punches your shoulder.
Boris kind of stares straight ahead. He spits, and he just kind of shakes his head. He says, out loud, wasn't my fault. Just kind of to no one in particular. He's not facing the group or anything. And yeah, just Kath was part of the expedition that was lost in Boira that Boris was in charge of, a friend. And picture like American Werewolf, that sort of a thing.
Yeah.
He's mangled and kind of like half decayed and that sort of thing. And, yeah. It gives me a real hard time.
Yeah, it just kind of taunts you for most of it. Yeah, and nobody else can see him, so for you guys, you just hear Boris out loud, "Not my fault," to like nobody in particular.
to the cornfield.
I look at Orin and shrug.
I guess we should find out what's happened to these things.
Yeah, the father. So yeah, we can tie him up right.
Yeah.
Now because everybody else is dead.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Do you guys want to take him into the house and time him for the chair? Are you going to time to like a poll?
Yeah.
What's your
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
It looks like he's gonna be knocked out for like a little bit, not like super long, but it looks like he's gone around a little bit, but he's not fully conscious just yet. Is there anything you guys want to do before you talk to him? Did you want to look around at all? Did you want to check anything?
Yeah, when we get him tied to the chair, I think we should go examine the barn and the windmill and
Sounds good.
everywhere we can. Yeah.
Yeah, so is anybody staying with him while he's tied up? And, like, is anybody moving off? By the way, Geller is completely useless in this situation right now. He's just kind of, like, on his knees, just like, oh my god, what is going on? As he's just seen the slaughter. He's not, like, he doesn't seem mad at you guys or anything. He just seems completely overwhelmed with the situation that's just occurred so quickly.
I don't mind staying with him if you guys want to go search or however you want to do it.
Yeah, should we leave somebody with him? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm all for everybody coming along, or if you want to stay with him, that's cool. Probably.
Well,
maybe we should. I don't know. He is dangerous, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, somebody needs to be here.
But we did beat him within an inch of his.
Yeah, he's not doing too good.
I mean, I can set his wife to watch him, but he will probably overpower her.
If he got free.
Yeah, I'll stay.
Okay.
And you can yell if you need help or.
It's not a huge lot. Like, you guys will be able to pretty much hear each other pretty well. And now, especially with, like, whatever loud noises were happening in their two buildings, it seems like it's pretty, honestly, horribly quiet now. It's, like, too quiet after. It's just, like, what's happened here is just sitting heavy in the air.
Yeah. Okay.
As to Boars, I don't know what those noises in that barn and that windmill were, but I have a feeling they weren't making wine.
Yeah, I don't think so. Let's go check it out.
Okay. So yeah, you go check out the barn. So yeah, you guys head over to the barn. The doors are still open from when the daughters left it. And what you find in here is this massive still. You see a bunch of crates of just whiskey piled up in one corner, and in the other sort of corner that's now taking up like a big part of this this barn, you're seeing like what looks like some weird machinery with like drying racks, and you're seeing just like meat just sort of laid out across the different racks. It seems like they were moving whatever was going on with this, where it seems like it's a pretty hefty like copper machine that looks like it's made for drying in this extremely damp environment that you guys find yourself in. And you're seeing just like lots of flesh, an uncomfortable amount of flesh.
Meat.
Yeah. Very pork-like.
Long pig.
Long pig.
Yeah, Boris is going to get up close and he's going to examine that. He wants to, be sure of what this is, I guess, what we're dealing with.
Yeah, I would say overall, like, you see like a bucket of fingers in one area, and like you're seeing like
clear.
Yeah, you're getting a lot of like indicators, like, okay, it seems like parts that were tattooed were sort of cut off to not be dried or eaten or anything like that. So you're seeing like sort of another little like tray full of like skinned parts that like where people were tattooed and stuff. So you have more Bravo Consortium tattoos that look like they've been skinned off, like arms and legs and palms and stuff.
Interesting.
What happened here?
I forgot I had the hand. I'm going to have the hand crawl up the mom and sit on her shoulder.
There you go. Yeah, just sort of like tapping, just have a perfect. It's so fucked up.
Oren's gonna have a quick look in the corner. So if there are some bottles of whiskey, he's just gonna hold one up to the.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's loads of bottles of whiskey. It looks like they do the labeling and everything here as well as like a labeling machine, all that sort of stuff. And it looks like the really nice kind of amber liquid that you know it to be. If you pop one of the corks, then you can smell it. Like it smells like just the delicious kind of whiskey that you know it to be.
He will grab as many bottles as he can.
Yeah, I mean,
Is this the time for that? Boris says. And he walks over, he grabs one himself and kind of stows it away.
But yeah, I'd say Marn, the most you could probably easily carry is probably like that would fit in the boat is like a case of like 12 bottles, like in one basically kind of like almost like a wooden milk crate kind of thing. So you could carry that out. I mean, you can also drink in here if you want to drink, because there's loads in here that are piled up, but it's up to you.
Started, right? Want some jerky?
Yeah, yeah, a little bit of jerky and whiskey on your travels.
Eat that.
Whenever the munchies hit.
Yeah.
So you'll pop a case outside to get on the way back and take a bottle with him, just in case that becomes useful in a minute.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely high proof.
Other than this machine, is there like a loft? What else is in the barn, I guess? Is there anything of note?
There is a loft. There's like a lot of different storage stuff. It does seem like if you want to give me, I'd say if you're looking around pretty heavily, if you want to give me like a notice check, Boars. 6. Okay, you find what looks like probably a little lockbox, like a little iron lockbox, and if you sort of like check it out or all, like I'm gonna say like you can easily tell from where it is and everything. It's not trapped. It doesn't seem like there's anything like it doesn't seem like there being any reason for them to trap it here. You sort of check it and like you sort of shake it. You can hear like the clinking of coins. It's pretty heavy. It does seem like it is probably some sort of money chest. It's like a very small one, like probably like the size like this big, size of like a football. It's heavy. Like you probably need to leave it on the boat. You probably couldn't carry it around with you. It'd probably like take up a little bit too much weight, but and also make some noise because as you move it, like you hear like the clinking of coins and other metal.
Interesting. I don't know anything about locks. I'm not sure if either of my companions do, but yeah, I'll whatever. I'll set that aside with the case of whiskey, I guess. Outside.
Yeah, you sort of found this like behind a bunch of cases and other things. Like it seems like it was like sort of hidden. Like there's a lot of dust over it where it hasn't been touched in a while. Where it seems like it's kind of just sort of like put in the back of the barn where probably most people wouldn't have looked for it, but you just kind of had like a feeling for it. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. What the hell happened to these people?
I don't know.
Let's look in the windmill.
You want to check out the windmill?
I think so.
Yeah. Sounds good.
We've explored the barn. Sounds like.
Yeah. So you check out the windmill, and it's kind of a similar kind of deal of uncomfortableness where it does seem like the sort of stone mill in the bottom that was definitely used for milling corn for their distillery now looks like it has a bunch of sort of bone shards in it. It looks like they're sort of like milling through the different bone shards, sort of turning into bone powder. There's a few like small bags of like sort of like bone meal, bone powder that's just off the side next to giant sacks of corn and grain and that sort of thing. Kind of unclear what was happening, at least with these, outside of just them milling it.
Does bone meal have like a real life purpose? Like, do we grind down like animal bones for it? Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's fertilizer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a source of calcium for plants to eat.
Probably not what they were using it for.
No, I don't like the look of this at all. He says, "Should we check out the house?"
Yeah. Do you want to go back to the house?
Yeah, the answers may be there.
Now, was there like a room in the top of the windmill? Did I hear you say earlier? Or did I mishear you, Alec?
I think you were thinking of the second floor of the of the main house.
Yeah, of the
like
house.
you could get up the windmill, but like you can tell like that's just for like maintenance. Whenever else, there's not
like a
much.
loft or something.
Yeah, there's nothing there really that stands out to you though.
Yeah, let's go back to the house and see what Amathelia is up to.
Yeah, sounds good. So you guys go check it out. It seems like he's still kind of out of it, but he's kind of like stirring now. I'd say this is right before Bors and Orin get back, and he's just like, oh, what's happening? Why am I tied up? He's kind of like moving on the chair, just sort of screeching it against the wind floor.
I don't think he's going to be a reasonable talker, so she's going to turn to the mom, and now she's going to cast Query the Skull.
Okay.
And find out what happened.
Yeah, so Query the Skull. If you want to just hit that, just so I can see the description, if that's possible.
Okay. Corpse, largely intact organs of communication, cannot have been dead for more than 1 day per caster level. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we'll answer up to 1 question per caster level with the caster understanding the answers regardless of the creature's natural language.
Cool. All right.
Answer in one or two sentences.
All right, so that's one of your spells, and you did raise corpse earlier, so that's those two going. Perfect. All right. So, what's your first question? How many questions can you ask? Does it say up to one question per episode? So you have 3 questions you can ask.
3 questions. Okay. First question. Who cast this spell on your family?
She says, "There was no spell cast on my family."
What happened to your family for you to gain these starry eyes that you have?
She says, "A being of great power gave us these gifts."
What do you guys think the third question should be?
Yeah, I'd say you two are back here by now at this point as well.
Yeah.
You guys enter the house.
Yeah. Yeah, you probably hear her say, a being of great power gave us these gifts. And I'll turn to you guys and say, I have one more question. I'm hesitant to ask if she knows its name, but she might.
She might.
I was thinking its location or...
Where did it come from, maybe?
Something along those lines. But yeah, something about the entity for sure.
Okay. Where did the entity come from?
She says, "Boira."
Okay.
Boris spits on the ground.
Yeah, I thought that word kind of coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cursed place.
You've got something irritating your passages. Was it that pipe I gave you?
No. I've been to Boira. I have been feeling I might need to go back. He kind of says like to himself. He's kind of like trails off.
What's down there?
Boris just he gives you like a real serious look. He stares right into your eyes, Oren. He says, "Death."
Good.
Oh.
I should go there. Sounds lovely.
You would love it, Amathelia.
Well, if one of you wants to stay here with the father in case he works with Ven, in case he works his way out of his bonds, I will be happy to accompany you, the other, to search the house.
Yeah, I'll watch him. I'm not super observant anyway, so yeah.
I'll turn to my new companion here, Butt Trumpet, and I'll tell her to
What is her name?
Butt Trumpet, and I point to Ven, I said, if he gets loose of his bonds, don't let him hurt anyone. Keep him where he is. And I said, okay.
Yeah, and the zombie kind of just doesn't respond, but it responds and that understands the order and just has a spear out in front of it, or the pitchfork rather. Yeah. So Oren and Amathelia, you guys are going to check out the rest of the house. Yeah, so you guys go around the house. It's a very nice house, like overall for out here. Like it's been able to somewhat keep from moisture and that sort of stuff. Where it looks like a very much classical kind of wealthy person's house. Where there's rugs, there's nice couches and beds and that sort of stuff. You do see paintings of the family, probably like when the girls were younger, probably like in their early teens, and it's a very like handsome looking family. The father looks younger. None of them have starry eyes at all or anything like that. They all look like a much more, not necessarily happy family, but very formal and cohesive as you go through the house. So going through it, the first very obvious thing you guys found that doesn't need a roll is that in what looks like probably like the master bedroom upstairs, you guys do see what looks like carved into the floor where the rug has been pulled off, this sort of drawing of what looks like a very gaunt, tall figure. It has this mask kind of face over it. It looks like a big, tall humanoid, basically. The mask does not have really many features. Like, it has kind of like almost like the silhouette of a face, like the brow and the eyes and the nose. No mouth or anything like that. And attached to its spine, you guys do see this like long kind of tentacle or arm coming off of it. It's a very rough drawing. It's kind of hard to make out. You guys have to sort of like move around it a bit to sort of get the full idea, but it does seem to be some kind of like big, large, scratched into the floor drawing of a big, tall, gaunt figure with like a weird arm coming off of its spine.
Oh, hang on a minute. You don't think these poor unfortunates downstairs have got something attached to them, do you? That's been making them do what they've been doing? I think we should get downstairs and check it out.
Yeah, we probably should at least check them for that. Got to figure out what we're going to do with that father, too.
Yes. I'm concerned one of these things might get balls if it breaks
Mm-hmm.
free.
Yeah, I think so too. Mom Thelia is going to take out, she has these sheets of paper and writing instruments. She's going to find something like a pencil, or if they have charcoal to
Yeah.
draw with or something like that, and make a rubbing
Yeah.
of this drawing and put it in her pack.
Absolutely, yeah. It takes you I would say you're going around and probably some of the other stuff you find here are some pretty nice sheets or things like that you can take from the house. There's not much to find here other than this. Really, you guys look around. There's obviously in terms of money, it seems like whatever the lockbox Boris found is probably where a lot of their money is. It seems like the rest of their money, they have it tied up in the actual items of their house. They have obviously very nice silver frames. They have a lot of clothes that's extremely expensive. All these things that if they need to liquidate it, clearly they could for a decent price here. So you do find a lot of nice stuff that you could probably take if you want that for whatever, but it is pretty bulky. So you are able to use that, grab some paper, do a big charcoal kind of drawing of it, and then you have that you're able to find one of those map tubes, to keep the moisture out, which is very common in this area where it's it's a very, very damp place. So you're able to put that into that map tube and sort of put that around you.
If the wife or the daughters have any jewelry, Amethelia will look at that, but I don't think there's anything she wants to take.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, there's absolutely a jewelry box that you find in the master bedroom that has loads of nice earrings, silver, emerald, gold, sapphires, bracelets, all kinds of stuff there that you could probably take. Probably worth a pretty penny.
Was there time to get the lockbox open while they were searching the house?
Oh, were you attempting to do that?
Sure.
Yeah, I'd say give me, unless you have a different way of doing it, give me a dexterity sneak. Unless you're trying to break it open with a hammer or something.
No, I'll go dexterity sneak. Sounds good.
One, yeah, no, you're not really able to get it. It's not quite your forte, and also seems like it's pretty well. As much as it's not an ostentatious box, it's clearly a well-made box. So the lock is pretty complex.
The lock is actually built right into the box itself.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Uh-huh.
But all right, yeah. What do you guys like to do? You guys are probably back together now, as you've gone around the house, found this big drawing, or not drawing, but carving. Yeah.
I'll show Boris the rubbing, and then I'll open it up and hold it in front of the father, in front of Vin. Does he react to it?
Yeah, you see him almost sort of prostrate himself in front of it, where he sort of just almost tries to get on his knees while in the chair, kind of falls over, and he looks up at it, and you see his eyes, the stars in them kind of go brighter as he just starts moaning and kind of humming and just basically acting very, very violently strange towards this picture.
When Boris sees the image, having been to Boira, is there anything about that looks familiar to me at all? Anything I recognize there? The style or the content?
As Venators, you guys have a lot of knowledge of different monsters, beasts, all kinds of weird things. What I would say, this art is not quite descriptive enough to really give you an idea. There's a lot of weird creatures that this could probably be, especially from Boira, in terms of gaunt, weird figures and that kind of thing. You can probably narrow it down to some things, but I'd say this is still not quite enough information for Boris to get a whole idea on. It does seem, I will say, it does seem familiar. It does feel like something that you do know about. It just feels like whatever's here is not quite enough for what you're looking for. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I think Orin, when he can, is going to grab one of his daggers and basically cut the shirt off this guy's back and see if he can see any kind of...
Yeah, you cut off the shirt while he's just humming and moaning, and you check his the back of his neck, his spine. No, it seems outside of his skin looking like he's dehydrated and whatever. As you guys can tell, it seems like when you guys are looking around, it seems like he was just getting drunk on whiskey upstairs when you guys came to the farm, and it seems like he's pretty dehydrated, not in great health right now. And yeah, but no worm or arm or any kind of attachment or any sign of a wound or anything like that that looks like that.
We're not sure what to do with this guy. If we leave him here, he'll die in the chair. If we let him go, he'll attack us.
Well, we have just killed his family. It might be, I don't know, kindest to reunite them.
And they call me a necromancer.
It's over at Amethelia.
Well, I can always bring him along with us. I don't know. Well, do we think that we're going to see something similar in Last Fin?
I would assume so, though, right?
Yeah.
Geller's like sort of comes to the door, like he's been like on the deck kind of listening to you guys, and he says, we might be able to tie him up in the canoe and attach the canoe to the punt.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea. See? You're going to be adventurer one day, Geller.
he just kind of shakes his head. He's like, I just want to get out of here.
Yeah.
This oh God, I can see why people don't come down here.
Okay, so yeah, let's do that. Let's get him in the canoe and strap him in. And
Sounds good. All right, yeah.
I'll tell the wife to drag the canoe behind her.
Sounds good. Yeah. The canoe's already down next to the punt, so you guys can just drag him
that's
through
right,
the cornfield. So yeah, you guys do that. You sort of drag him through. He's kind of fighting it a little bit. You might like be able to sort of subdue him somewhat, but you guys are able to tie him basically to like the seats of the canoe, sort of lay him across, get him tied up there on both ends. He's not going anywhere. He's completely restrained between all of you guys, and you guys are able to sort of attach it to the punt and continue your journey. Since it's pretty slow anyway, it doesn't like there's not much worry about the drift and that sort of stuff. There's no like current, or there's a current, but it's not like strong enough to really matter. Do you guys have him gagged? Because he's sort of muttering and talking and stuff. Like, are you trying to make sure you keep him quiet, or like what's the?
I mean, if nobody else is, yeah, it's probably driving Boars insane.
Yeah, I don't think he's. I'm tempted to leave him so he could talk. He might say something useful, but it doesn't. He hasn't yet.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Sounds good, yeah. Yeah, I imagine Boards, if you're looking over at, like, before anybody does that, you're just seeing, like, Kath there just, like, sitting on him, like, just sitting, like, on his stomach, just kind of chilling out, just kicking his feet over the canoe, looking around. Which is a very weird, this figure is tall as fuck, it's a very weird look, but yeah, you're just sort of seeing this sort of strange goading figure kind of all your vision.
He's got, like big, like, bear...
Yeah, he's got, like, big furs over his shoulders, he has, like, a skull face, he's got, like, he's got a big axe, like, he's just this really tall, gaunt, horrifying figure. You've gotten used to him probably at this point. I mean, he's annoying as fuck, but like in terms of like how he looks, you've seen him so much he doesn't leave you alone. So anybody else talking is already enough because he's always like in your ear. I just don't want to stop the game every 2 minutes just for him to make a little crack at you, but he shows up at the worst times. Yeah.
And again, yeah, it's absolutely American Werewolf.
Yeah.
And you know, because humans have a bottom for terror, but not for being annoyed.
Yeah.
We have an infinite capacity for being annoyed.
Yeah. The fear of him showing up a long time ago has melted into just frustration and annoyance probably at this point. Maybe every once in a while he's really creepy, but overall I feel like he's just the worst.
He's just taunting me constantly.
Yeah. But yeah, so you guys are moving along the marsh still here, and you guys are sort of snaking around a little bit, and Geller slows the boat down a bit. He says, okay guys, I normally do this route alone, and there's 3 ways to get the last fen from here. Since you guys are the ones who can, clearly take care of yourself in combat, I'll let you guys decide which way we go. But we have 3 ways. There's the slowest path. We can push the boat here. He points off to like some of the reeds that turn into more like marshy land. He's like, we can walk to Last Fen from here. It's by far the longest. It's hard to walk through like the really spongy marsh. However, it is the safest. There's a lot of venom eel, swamp squid, and moss hunters. A lot of their hunting grounds and all their activity is in the other 2 paths. So this is the safest path to go through here, but it will take us by far the longest. We won't get there before, especially with how much time we took up over at the farm. We definitely won't get there before nightfall. He says the second slowest is across sort of like reedy, kind of snaggly path on the punt. It is the spawning waters for the venom eels, so they are not abundant, but the chance of running into the one is much higher that way. And the third and fastest option is the most dangerous one, where it's basically more open water. Like it's still very much the marsh, but there's way less reeds. It's almost just like the fog and the sort of black water kind of meeting, and that's where the squids, eels, and moss hunters kind of move through a lot. So I'm not gonna say quite a highway, but there's a lot of spawning fish, lots of birds. That's where like a lot of the hunting happens. So as much as overall, especially with the group that's here, will probably be okay, it's just there's always those chances of running into things. So
I mean, I don't think we want to be traveling through the bog after dark, do we?
No.
I don't myself.
Neither do I.
Geller seems pretty happy with that decision. He's like, okay, good. I had to put it out there, but it's one hell of a walk. Especially every step just awakens all the mosquitoes. It's hell.
You don't take the boat through there, so surely if you which one do you take normally? Second or third?
He says, when I'm alone, I usually take the second slowest one, though when I've run into eels, it has nearly killed me. I was thinking with you guys here, the fastest way there by a good margin might be the best route, but it is the most dangerous. I avoid it for a reason, because the times I have taken it there's been some bad instance with the squids.
Well, what do we think? I can't. I will have to fight hand to hand. My magic is spent for the day.
I'm pretty much strictly hand to hand as well. I vote for the fastest route.
Yes, either's fine with me.
Fine with that. And we have 4 friends to fight with us now.
Yeah.
And potentially a 5th.
Oh, I guess one thing I should say, because I did forget to mention this, that could Amethylia might have been interested in, is that you would have found gunpowder and bullets for Vin's pistol if you did want to take that. If you did want a pistol.
Oh yeah. If we came across his pistol and its ammo, yeah, I'll take it.
Yep, sounds good. Yeah, because he had the pistol in his hand. It's a 3-shot pistol, so you can reload. I'll just put it in your inventory here.
Okay.
It definitely looks like actually you dealt with them before. It definitely looks like it's made from like one of the Reykjavik smiths, like the gun nuts in the north that make really good guns. So it definitely looks like this is an expensive gun.
Nice.
Okay. So you can fire it 3 times, but after that, like it's gonna take like 10 minutes to reload all the gunpowder and bullets and everything. So, but there you go. That should be now in your inventory.
Yes. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay. So you guys decide to go for the fastest path.
Yes.
All right. So you he nods gravely and he pushes off, and you guys sort of leave the sort of smaller kind of route you guys are in and go into what feels like almost like a very dreamlike state, where it's basically the fog that comes off of Boira just sort of meets the black water, and it feels like you're almost like in this not liminal space, but almost like, I guess, like the opposite of a liminal space in the same sort of way of just kind of like this very open and weird spot where it's kind of hard to tell distances. There's no reeds now to really show you any silhouettes. Every once in a while you do hear like a splash here or some movement, some ripples that sort of like make you look around and like you sort of keep your eye out. And so basically you're almost reaching Lasfen here when I would say Lasfen's probably about 30 minutes away, when ahead of you, as it starts to narrow somewhat, you do hear lots of splashing, you hear some like screeching, you hear like weird kind of clicking noises, and you see silhouettes of things sort of swashing around in the water ahead of you. Geller is slowing down, but is getting close enough that you guys can see what looks like almost 2 men that look like almost like they're like in ghillie suits. Like they look like they're just, moss is just covering their entire sort of bodies the way they're moving, and they are completely tentacled by a big squid, and they're sort of like trying to stab it, but they're being sort of dried underneath the water. They're bobbing back up. Like there's just lots of weird noises are coming off of this as they come into view. They are kind of in your way. You might be able to get around them somewhat, but it does seem like they are making lots of noise, making lots of attention.
Bors looks at Geller. He says, "Moss hunters."
Yep, that's them. That's them there.
Should we help?
Will they turn on us if we help them kill the squid?
It's hard to say. I don't think so. They're pretty intelligent creatures. They're not, they're not vicious barbarians or anything.
Maybe give them a hand. Maybe we can get some allies out here.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. He says, all right, and he starts pushing faster towards the fight. As like you're seeing these tentacles going flying up, you're seeing a bunch of this purple black ink shoot out from the squid onto the 2 moss hunters as they're trying to stab at it. And you guys sort of come up alongside. I'm gonna say I'll just do a roll for Geller here since he's doing the boat. Okay, yeah, so he does a pretty sneaky job. So he's able to move the bow in a way that gets you guys up close without any of them noticing you just yet. So what do you guys want to do here? I'll give you sort of like a surprise round before we get into combat.
Yeah. Is it possible to launch this bottle of whiskey that he picked up earlier and get it on the squid without sort of covering the mossmen as well?
Oh yeah, this squid is like a sea squid, but like it's like almost like it is. It's honestly really upsetting how large the squid is, and to know like they are just underneath the surface of these boats that you guys are on. Like it is twice as long as the boat you're on. So you can absolutely try and go for like the head part because it's kind of keeping them back with like it's where the tentacles are. So you can absolutely do that.
I think he'll take one of his little silk handkerchiefs and stuff it in the
Okay.
the neck of the bottle and get his pipe and
Nice. I like
light
it.
the thing and chuck it over and probably miss.
Perfect. Yeah. So
Get
what
it,
I'll say
head.
for that, I would say that'll be an attack for sure. So that's going to be a D20 modified by your dex, modified by your shoot skill. So that's probably what, a D20 minus 1 it looks like?
No, I don't have any shoot, so I think that's D20 minus 2 minus
It is.
1.
It is, right. Well, just you have a 0 in dex, so it's just minus
do,
2 if
yeah.
it's a combat spell. So yeah, so it's just D20 minus 2. Oh my god.
Oh,
So
this
roll to 0. Yeah. So thankfully there's no fumbles in this, thankfully. But you do throw it, and I'm gonna say like thankfully it sort of like bounces off like the rubbery dome of the squid and then just like falls in the water, putting out the fire, and just sort of like the bottle's just kind of like floating there, just in the water, fully extinguished.
Just looks at it and goes, "Bugger."
How about Boars and Amethelia? You guys are like right alongside it now. Like it's like this was honestly one of those things of like where you threw it sort of downwards, and I guess there was almost either too much force or something, but it just booming. So it was.
I think Amethelia wants to try her new pistol.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. You can just fire right into it.
Not going to do well at this because she is a -1 at shoot, so that's a -3, right?
Just minus 2. It should do it automatically though. Yeah, it's a minus 2 when it's a combat skill, but it's a little bit of a weird thing, but it should do it all for you.
Missile, right? Not melee. I'm not trying to.
It should already do that already for you. I'll check actually. That will, I believe. Let me check their AC. It will just hit. And yeah, you blast right into it, and like a bunch of ink and blood shoots out, like a big geyser, just sort of pouring out. You know, like when you shoot like a water cooler in a video game, where the water just kind of pours out like that. That's what's kind of happening with like ink and blood. And so you guys kind of just get out of the way as it's sort of like spraying off into the water, and it's like freaking out now.
I turn to my zombies and I cheer like this, and they clap.
yeah. It's still going for sure. This is like a huge creature, but that was a good amount of damage.
Yeah, I want to try to. I'm gonna strike at one of the tentacles that's holding one of these guys.
Okay, sounds good. Oh, natural 1. However, you will still do 5 shock damage, which is a lot. Oh man, look at that 11 damage if you had hit. But yeah, so you do like hit and cleave into it. You do like really hurt the tentacle that you're hitting. Even with that 5 shock damage, that's still a good amount of damage there. As it sort of gives the.
I flip my warhammer around to the pick side and I sink it into the tentacle.
Perfect. Yeah, you sink it right in. You kind of pull on it a bit, and that's enough to sort of loosen the moss hunter out of it for a second.
Oh. Nice.
Okay, and the moss hunters will go now as well. They'll both use their spears. Okay, so one will hit, one will miss. And yeah, they both like stab repeatedly over into it. This thing's almost dead. Between you guys and these things, like it's blood and ink is just spewing out all over the place here as they stab into it. Now that squid's gonna go. It's gonna use a tentacle on one of the moss hunters. Natural 1 for the squid. So it's not gonna do much outside of some shock damage. And then it's gonna do a tentacle attack on you, Boars. And also, it's not going to hit. And your AC is above 15, correct? And I think, do you have anything with shock?
18, I believe.
Yeah. They only do 15 and under. So yeah, you're good. Yeah, so this thing's freaking the fuck out. Like tentacles are now like almost like a weird kind of like kraken. Tentacles are flying everywhere, all around the boat and the water. Ink is just getting all over the place. It's pretty messy. But it's back to you guys.
Well, Amethelia will take another shot.
All right.
She's very happy with this gun. Not this time.
No?
Yeah, unfortunately not this time. Yeah. Boars and Orin.
Orin is going to try and swipe at it with his dagger if it's within reach.
Okay.
Yeah, and probably miss. There's a theme here if you haven't.
Yeah. Oh boy.
So.
You do just this thing is really hurt. It's not enough to kill it, but like you do get your dagger into it, but like you're now like trying to like pull it out with like the really thick rubbery skin just on the side of the boat here, and you sort of pull it out. But you do a little bit, you might get some nice calamari by the end of this with this knife. That might be the best use for it.
Bors kind of runs along the side of the boat, along the deck, and strikes at this thing's body.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
So, that will be enough to kill it, thankfully, though. The 5 damage between the gunshots, the hits, and the spears, and also the nice little dagger. We'll add that in there, too. You guys just beat this thing to death and rip it apart. And
Shock damage is killer.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, this thing stops moving. You see that the monster hunters just surgically sort of cut the tentacles off right away, because they're still kind of moving around and stuff. And it kind of just floats there without it. You see the monster hunters turn to you guys, and like they really do look like people like in ghillie suits. They do look really weird. They kind of have like fishy eyes, but there is a weird uncanny humanness in them. There is like an intelligence and like something there that like it's not like, have you guys ever looked at like a chimpanzee? Like there's a weird freakish sort of human element to them that's like, you're kind of cool, but also you're kind of freaking me out. It's kind of like that. And they do look at you kind of almost like these like sort of just moving, waddling kind of moss clumps, and one sort of takes like the head of their spear, and they look south towards the way you're going, and they look back right at you. I'm gonna say they look at you, Bors, and in the punt boat, they just carve what looks like a gravestone, and they carve that several times, like together, and then both of them kind of just submerge underneath the surface and kind of like disappear right into the black water.
Bors looks at Amethelia and Orin and Geller and says, well, I think that's a pretty clear message.
Yeah? Don't need to make a rubbing of this one.
Maybe it's a sign. Maybe it's a pass for whoever we might meet on the way. Leave them alone.
Yeah.
We can only hope.
Yeah, and you do notice they did take the tentacles with them, as like there's just like this floating, like the head of the squid here is still floating next to you guys, but they took the tentacles with them.
They took the tentacles.
Yeah.
The body's good too. That's
yeah.
Does Amethelia know anything about that would be of value on the remaining parts of the squid?
Yeah, I mean, there's the ink sacs. I would say there's still parts to eat from the head of the squid if you want that. It seems almost like the squid's been cut 50-50 to you guys. It seems like half. Oh, okay. Yeah, so it seems like the tentacles are gone, but the tentacles sort of meet halfway where the body is. There are the eyes. There's something you can probably use like an alchemical kind of for like, for wizardy shit. The ink's probably great for scroll writing and other things like that as well. So there's some stuff you can definitely harvest.
I don't really have anything to protect the eyes with, unless I tell the zombies that they have to hold the eyes, which would be completely freaky if we just walked up to somebody like that. But I think the ink sacs. I could cut the flesh around them and sort of keep them intact.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I'll do that.
Yeah, that's not a problem at all. Yeah, you're able to sort of take some time with the group of you and just sort of carve those out. And there's a few left intact that haven't been stabbed or destroyed yet. So I'd say you're probably able to get like 3 kind of bulbous, probably like the size of like tennis balls. These sort of like ink sacs that you're able to pull out and sort of probably put like in either a case or like a net and sort of leave them like sort of hanging in the water, keep them fresh. But yeah. So you're able to get that. You're also wizard. You probably also have some vials. So if you didn't want to put like some of the ink in vials, you could probably do that as well if that's something that you want to do.
I'll do 1 vial.
Sounds good. Yeah. All right. Is there anything else you guys want to do here?
Negative.
Okay. Sounds good.
We did cut off some of the meat, right?
Just yeah, I assume that's what you guys did as well. Yeah, as you got it open, you also got some like the good stuff for for grilling. So finally, looming ahead of you to the south as you guys keep moving for another half hour, you guys do see the silted houses of Lasfen. Not being able to make anything out really through like the thick, soupy fog at this point. You do notice also to the east, you notice the reeds have been cut down to make way for like what looks like this ensemble of monoliths. So to the south you have Lasfen, to the east you have all these sort of monoliths that are sort of in their own area, and to the south where Lasfen is, you guys do see what looks like properly an actual large dock now. It looks like it's quite larger than the one that the Weddles had. There's probably like a fleet of canoes, punts, pontoon boats. Like there's quite a few boats here that seem to be used probably for all kinds of things, cargo, travel, leisure, that sort of thing.
How many? What is the population of Lasfen?
Lasfen is about like 30 to 40 people. from what you guys knew. Yeah. Not a huge place, but, still like a decent sized population for somewhere so remote, that like here.
Are there any sort of scavenger birds, the kind that always follow ships around looking for scraps or whatever? Are there any circling around these ships or flying around these boats here?
No, and in fact, what I would say of that is that I would say you think of that because you kind of see what look like probably some dead ones kind of floating in the water next to your boat. They kind of like knock off like the side of the punt that you kind of think of where it's like, because there are birds in this area that are part of the ecosystem, but it seems like the wildlife is pretty dead here. You've been hearing bugs, you've been hearing birds, you've been seeing fishes sort of jumping, trying to get, but here it's like dead quiet. The only sound is Geller kind of pushing the boat against like the squishing mud.
Geller, were these monoliths, have they always been here?
Yeah, he sort of points, he's like, oh yeah, that's the graveyard. That's the Last Fen graveyard. They have a stonemason here in town who's done all their houses and has done their mausoleums, that sort of thing.
Should we pay it a visit? I mean, they did,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go. Tell Geller that we need to go there. We need to go there first, I think, before we go to town, right? Or do we want to go, is it rest time?
No, you guys, in terms of like the adventuring day, you mean? Mm-hmm. Oh no, you guys still have quite a few hours ahead of you in terms of before you have to worry about like needing rest. You guys, because honestly, most of the day has also been you guys kind of just sitting there on this boat. Like you guys have probably gotten some good naps in here and there, probably taking some shifts. So you're overly well rested. Not super well rested because it's not a great boat. But like you don't need to go to sleep anytime soon.
Okay. And did I get my spells back?
No, it's not that level of rest. More just that like you're
that
good.
long?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now you can if you want to. If you do guys want to find a place to rest for a night to get your spells back, you can do that. But you do know that it is incredibly dangerous out here. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I think
especially
it's
at night.
Safer to push on.
Yeah.
I will take some time to reload the gun.
Yeah.
While we're traveling.
I'm assuming after every combat that you're probably just gonna reload the gun. Unless something happens right away that stops you from doing that, I'm just gonna assume that you're doing that.
Okay. All right.
I wouldn't be that much of a dick. So you guys are deciding to go past Last Fen and go check out the graveyard off in the fog?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, so this one has a smaller dock that you guys can sort of go to. You also notice that since you guys have gone into this water area, like this part of the fens, like that, like Vin is kind of freaking out. Not next to the graveyard, but just like in this general Last Fen area. He's like wriggling around a lot against his binds. He's well attached, but you are noticing he's making lots of splashes and puddles, or ripples rather, in the canoe. But you guys make it to the little dock there for the graveyard. You guys are able to tie up, and it's right there in front. Like it's not too far away. You guys getting off the boat, you guys can see that the Last Fen graveyard really does show the wealth of this community because it looks like from the dates, the earliest graves are closer to you. They are like moldering, pathetic squares, just like almost like cobblestones in the wake of the impressive mausoleums that are sinking into the wet ground beyond them, just sort of further. You're seeing like almost like those Victorian kind of mausoleums of just like giant stone edifices, not like building size, but like they are clearly pretty huge. They clearly go off into the ground. And so are there any ones that are you checking this graveyard out, guys, or are you doing like a perimeter check?
Yeah.
What's your plan here? Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's all kinds of things for me to do here. Well, if I get some sleep, there'd be all kinds of things for me to do. I'm assuming that I would have some sort of latent skill with gathering information in a graveyard. I mean, it kind of seems like it would come with the
territory.
Territory.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll see if what of the town's history I can trace.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Are the important people, or the like 2 important people of a town of 40, were they buried over here or what?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, you go around, like you're able to easily sort of. There is a story to tell here that the gravestones do tell you. Like I said, you can tell up until about 2 decades ago or so, and maybe even earlier, or even sooner than that, like closer to our time, there's a lot more wealth that came in the last sort of 10, 15, 20 years, as smaller stones lead to just much bigger ones, much nicer, grander families. As you guys are going around, I'm assuming you guys are probably sticking together, if I'm not mistaken, unless anybody says that they're going off on their own or anything like that. As you're going around, I would say Amethelia, you probably noticed this before anybody else does, but like most of the mausoleums have like sealed wax over the doors, but there's one that you notice the sealed wax has been sort of broken. There's like scraping, signs of scraping on like the stone, and you do smell like the faint smell of smoke coming from one of the mausoleums. It belongs to the Malvit family, and judging by the symbols and sort of kind of, iconography, it seems like this is probably the Malvits. You can probably guess are probably like the stonemason family of this town. Clearly very rich. Clearly put a lot of work into their own mausoleum. And it's probably like next to the mayor, the Vlads, next to the mayor one. It's probably the nicest one there. And you do see that like this one has been opened. The doors are closed, but they are kind of not even ajar, but like just slightly open.
Well, who wants to go first? And I'll turn and look at the two of these guys. Boris, I guess that's you, right?
I do have the shield.
Yes, the shield.
Sure, yeah. I'll approach the mausoleum door that is ajar.
Mm-hmm.
Whose mausoleum is it? It's the Vlad?
No, this is the Malvits. This is the stone. Yes, it's the stonemason family. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll approach that door, and is there any light coming from it? I'll kind of look inside.
Yeah, you do. You see, as like if you're looking through it a little bit, there is like you can see from what little vision you have. There's stone steps, very steep ones that go down, and there's like an orange light coming from below, coming from the bottom of the stairs.
I gotta like look at the doors, just at a glance, see if there's any trip wires, not a crazy inspection, and then I'm gonna gently push the door open or pull it open, whatever it is.
Yeah, I'll make a roll for it or anything like that. You can tell there's no traps or anything here. It seems like you're able to open it up, and there's no tripwire goes off, nothing happens to you. You seem okay. And so you see as you open this up that like sort of like a warmth kind of sort of hits you a little bit, coming from sort of pushing back the sort of cold fog that sort of has captured all of you while you're out here. It feels very inviting coming from this mausoleum, which is a weird thing to say. Probably not for Amethelia, but for you, it's probably the most inviting mausoleum you've ever seen.
This may be some of my people here. I'm hesitant to go first.
Yeah,
we should probably go quietly. We should probably go quietly, whatever happens. Don't want to surprise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, quietly.
And Boris, are you going first, or who's going in first? Sorry.
Sure.
I'll
go first.
Okay. Yeah. So you guys head down. It seems like Geller's going to go in last. He seems a little bit creeped out by this. You head down these steep stone stairs, trying to be as quiet as you can, but your armor going down very, very claustrophobic stone stairs isn't exactly the quietest you can possibly be, but it leads you to a weirdly cozy room. There's this amber flaming sphere bobbing up and down in the middle of this room, casting this like warmth across your bodies. You're seeing tapestries covering most of the graves set into the walls. There's a shelf and a work table in the far corner that's covered in books, powders, potions, equipment, and jars full of, random specimen. And, directly to your right and left, you see some comfy looking like leather chairs, and underneath the flaming sphere, a delicious looking feast is set upon a dining table with various meats, wines, vegetable dishes, cheeses, and all kinds of really good-looking food. And as you guys are on the stairs here, you hear a voice ring out, "Ooh, some naughty children have wandered into Granny's home without permission. You must have a good reason for coming here. And I'm sure, being professional Venators as I can tell you are, you also have something worth offering in return."
Oh, the zombies came with us, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving them at the punt. They came with us.
Sounds good.
I'll step forward and I'll say, thank you for your very hospitable greeting. I'm sure that we have things that we can offer in trade.
Ah, perfect. And you see across from you, like behind the table of food near the far wall, this figure materializes into view. You see this sort of beautiful, red-haired, very like ageless woman sits at a loom. You see her hair feeding kind of endlessly into this machine as she braids something on it while she's looking at you and talking. You can't quite make out what's being made. And also, despite her like very like feminine kind of ageless features, Her body looks like she's been doing shot put daily for like the last century. She is hulking over this loom she's working at. And she says, "Oh, well, I'm glad you are clearly so mannerly. You're welcome to take a seat, have some food, and we can see if Granny can help you and if you can help Granny."
I'll even curtsy to her, and I'll sit down. I won't eat just yet because we haven't worked out the deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll say, many thanks again for your hospitality. The feast looks wonderful. It's been a very long day for us. What would you like in trade? I can offer you some fresh ink sacs from a giant squid. I can offer you jewelry. I can offer you the service of a zombie.
Oh, she says, I have a few things in mind, but I'm sure we can come to some sort of deal. Absolutely. Orin and Boris, what are you guys doing while Anathelia sits down and is talking with her?
I whisper to both of them, "Don't eat the food." And then I sit down at the table.
Sounds good.
Orin sort of looks around, and as he looks sort of behind him, he turns a little bit so that you can't see him very well. And he's going to cast Imperceptible Cerebral Divulgence.
Okay.
I got that out in one.
Damn. You want to just...
Imperceptible
Yeah.
cerebral divulgence.
It's ridiculous, the spells in this fucking game. Yeah, do you want to just cast it there, Martin, so I can read it in the chat log? Is it an art or is it a spell?
Oh, it says no spell slots remaining.
Oh, you should have some. Have you cast any spells today yet?
Only before the game started. I suspect it was those,
there you go.
So,
you should be able to do it now.
There we go.
The mages focus on a visible living creature within 100 feet per caster level. For the rest of the scene, they immediately receive an impression of the target's surface thoughts and interests. Understand them regardless of any lack of a shared language. The caster may ask one question on the target's memories per caster level, but doing so risks breaking the spell. The target can make a mental save before answering each question, and the spell ends if the save is successful. Okay, this is interesting. So she'll do a mental save then?
Well, so I think there's two parts to it. I think that if I read it right, I think the first part is you immediately receive an impression of the target's surface thoughts and interests, and that's before we ask any questions. So I'm not even sure they save for that one.
You may ask one question.
Gotcha. Yeah. I would say the surface thoughts and interests is, it seems like from what you get, this creature, which I would say you guys all recognize, or at least Anathelia and Orin recognize to be a greater hag, which is a very, very dangerous creature, but can be talked with. She seems to not have violent thoughts towards you guys. You're almost getting like the same, when you're doing trades and deals with people, you're getting the same sort of thing as somebody who has a great, like, almost opportunity. They've seen a great opportunity has been brought before them. She seems to be in sort of a more bargaining kind of mood. You can tell that from the thoughts she has, that you're able to pull off some things. She's clearly a very magical creature, so it's actually hard to read her the way you can read a person. You get in your head sort of almost like a breathing meat version of that drawing you saw earlier. Like it's like flashing in your head. She seems to know something about that you're able to catch that seems to be dealt with this bargain. So it seems like she is willing to bargain. She doesn't seem like outwardly violent or anything like that. You do know immediately from the feeling of it, this creature is incredibly powerful. Your group might be able to take her, but you feel like immediately almost like a wall of like magical defenses sort of stops you from getting too deep into her brain matter. But she doesn't pick up on it. If you ask her a question, that might change how things go here. But right now, it seems like you're able to get some surface thoughts. But
Orin will ask a question, but not using this.
Not using this, but just ask a question. Yeah.
Tell me, we came across some people, and they had been enchanted. They were all starry-eyed, most violent.
Yes. Well, I'm imagining if there's Venators this far south, you're here to deal with what's happening in Lastfen. Am I correct in assuming that? Well,
You are.
Yes. Well, what happened to the Weddles, as I've watched them for a while, is the same thing that's been happening here in Lastfen, and will probably continue to grow out even further, perhaps even as far as Ashtown, depending on how things go here. But we'll see. Perhaps there's something that we could do to help you guys stop that from happening. I'd be very happy to do.
When I hear that she knows about what's happening, I will take out the rubbing that I made, and I found this carving. It's so curious. I can't quite put my finger on what it is, Would you be willing to? I made a rubbing of it. Would you be willing to look at it and see if you know what kind of creature it is?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
I'll spread it out on the
Yeah.
floor.
Oh, yes, that's exactly what you're looking for. I know exactly what it is, but, no information is free. But we can come to a deal. I have a few ideas of things I could want from you guys, but, we can always see if you guys have a better offer that you are willing to trade. The one, she looks directly at you, Orin. I would say, like, you just sort of, like, finished casting your spell just a little while ago. She looks at you and says, well, after you're done this job, I could always do a year of your service in my workshop, helping me with some of my projects. I wouldn't be against having such a handsome man working alongside me for the next while. Might get in the way of some of your day-to-day work that you like to do, but it's only a year.
Orin is going to ask via the spell, what is it?
The work?
No, the creature. Well, she's prattling on. He's going to sort of ask.
Oh, you're going for this. So she
what
can do
is
mental
the
save?
creature? Yeah.
Okay. I think you want higher, right, in this, if I'm not mistaken?
No.
I believe so, because it goes down.
It's like Call of Cthulhu. So what you want is who makes the better,
Yeah.
who gets it better and by a better margin.
Yeah, because the saves go down as you get more hit dice. The save number goes down. So she wants a high number here. Okay, so she does fail that.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
What I'm gonna say here, Marn. I'm gonna tell you what this is, but I'm gonna say I think Boars knows what this creature is, but obviously there's no way for you to tell him this, at least in this way. But you don't necessarily know. But what you get is the words "angel" come to you.
Okay. I don't much fancy being out of action for a year. I think that would be awful for business, and my shop in Brahms Respite would be derelict by the time I get back, I'm sure. What else would you be prepared to trade?
Oh well, I mean, there's also Amethelia. I could always use a favor from you for reasons I won't get into. I can't enter Voltameri willingly, but if you bindingly agree to give me permission to enter it when that time comes, I'll happily give you guys the information you need.
So this would be allowing a greater hag into our sanctum?
Yes. I currently can't enter it, but somebody like you, I can tell the power coming off of you, you'd be the exact kind of subject I need to allow me entry.
Would you be entering with the purpose of doing violence?
Oh, the reasons would be my own.
You understand that I have a responsibility to my fellow Venators to keep us protected. If I knew what your reasons were for going in, and if I knew that you are not going to harm anyone in it,
Well,
I would be more willing to agree.
there will be some harm coming to some people, but whether they're innocent is up for debate.
I understand. It's that kind of deal. I suppose we all come across those kinds of situations.
Yeah. She says, well, while you're thinking about that, she looks over towards Boars and says, well, one thing I can take off of you right now that I could definitely use is I quite admire your strength. You give that to me for a month, Boars, starting right now, and I'll give you all the information you guys want.
What does that mean?
Mechanically, your strength will be brought down to a 10 basically for a month, starting like right after you guys make this deal.
What is this? What are you giving us? The name of this creature?
Oh, more than that, I'm going to tell you exactly how you can deal with this creature.
Orin looks put out. He's sort of thinking, well, hang on a minute. This guy's losing like some of his strength for a month, and yet that's somehow equal to a whole year of the entire Orin.
Orin's getting very petulant. He's getting very petulant.
I will say, Boars does have an 18 strength. It is quite a drop for whatever you're running into. The other thing, too, is that you at least get to deal the service after the job is done and you get your stuff together and get your affairs in order.
Yeah.
Boars is losing his strength right now if he agrees with this. But she also says, I'm open to other negotiations, but they better be good. I don't want any bad deals. And like I said, you're welcome to eat and drink. They're not poisoned. I'm not going to charm you or anything. I kind of need you at your full because, this is a mutual deal that will help me out as well.
Amethelia will sit down and eat and drink.
Yeah, no, you feel fine. The food is absolutely delicious. The drink is fantastic. It's great.
Orin's kind of wondering where the food came from. I mean, this place doesn't seem to be full of lush, verdant valleys with fruit trees and free-range poultry and beef, so he's sort of thinking there's something going on here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Boar's definitely not eating. Maggots. Maggots. You're eating maggots, Michael.
Everything's in Chinese food boxes.
Exactly. I don't know if I want to deal with this creature. I don't know if Boris wants to deal with this creature. Giving my strength up wouldn't be that crazy. But I at the same time, I don't want to deal with this creature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys can always walk away, whatever. Who knows how that will end, but you guys are welcome to do that. You guys can do whatever you want.
Yes.
I asked her if she would take the service of my undead companions for the rest of their existence as a fair trade. It leaves us without 4 who would fight for us.
She considers that for a moment. Some undead that would belong to me, huh? That are taken from you.
Yes.
She says she'll take that deal with a little bit of extra as well. I'm gonna say similar probably to Boars in a way, where she's gonna be like, okay, I also want your spellcasting ability for a month. I want your necrotic powers that you have. They're very, very interesting.
I say, well, I have recently come into the possession of a pistol that I've grown quite fond of. So yes, I will agree to that.
She says, all right, come stand before me in front of her loom. Okay. And you get up and you walk over, and she looks up at you, and you see her red hair shoots off of her head and crawls onto yours, replacing your hair, sort of just taking it over. She's completely bald now, and she says, when your deal's fulfilled at the end of the month, your hair will return to normal. Betray me, break the deal in any way, and my hair will strangle you to death.
Honestly, I'm not sure how I could break it, but I understand. Fair.
Well, any kind of betrayal if you try to tell anybody where I am, anything like that.
Oh, okay. I turn to the 4 zombies and I say, obey her as you would have obeyed me.
And she takes them off you, and they just sort of go around the room and sort of like sit down somewhere, just sort of like in the different corners of the room. So that'll be fun to try out. I haven't dealt with much necrotic energy in a while. She says, but all right, good deal. And she gets up from her loom, and she is super gigantic, and she takes out the big chair at the head of the table and sits down in it and claps her hands together and says, all right, so, well, this was quite a nice peaceful place to set up shop for a while before, that wizard mayor, Bargain Vlad, captured an angel in Boira to siphon off its power. And immediately as she says that, she says, it was over, I've been here about 20 years now, and it was nice before they started making all that ruckus, but it's been especially bad since he lost control of it just a month ago or so. And when she says that, Boars, you immediately know what an angel is, which is basically a classification of these sort of weird, incredibly powerful, incredibly chaotic beings like we found in Boira. They're known to warp reality around them. They're known to be incredibly dangerous. Most people who ever come across one will never be seen again, or will never be the same again if they are ever seen again. They are absolutely not something anybody wants to run into. And she says he's been extracting power from it for the last decade, with some contraption attached to it underneath his mansion, and he's been able to just sort of use this energy to help with their crops. He's been able to sort of sell it as his own potions, as his own spells, as his own, imaginings and, inventions to make them prosper so that they're able to build up their profit margins every year. However, it seems like he needed more and more, or he wanted more and more, and well, he pushed it a little bit too far, and it finally broke free somewhat. I know it's still trapped underneath there for some reason. Perhaps he has something holding it there, but it's been letting off mad and distressed signals across this area. It's been giving me a fucking headache. It's been changing people, creating tears in reality. It's, thankfully for you guys, quite weakened from all the power that's been taken from it over the last, decade and change. But it is by no means an easy thing to deal with. From what I know, most of the people in Lasfen are dead or are worshipping it or, are not in a good way. However, last I saw, it seems like Barjan was able to survive, boarded himself in the town hall. He's been able to protect himself. He has not protected any of his fellow people, it seems like. So if you want to find him, he might know more, but he's in the town hall. Last I saw him, if he's still alive there. This was about a week or two ago when I was checking out the area. It's hard for me to actually go near the town. It, like I said, gives me a horrid headache. And, yeah, that's what you're dealing with here.
How do we deal with the angel?
She says, it is weakened enough. You might be able to kill it in its current state. It could be very dangerous. You might want to take it by surprise, or who knows, maybe Barjan has some ways of knowing how to deal with it since he's the one who captured it, which is quite impressive. So he might know a way of... Yeah?
When you say it warps reality around it, what does that look like?
Oh, well, I mean, it can bring creatures from other dimensions into this one. It can just turn you into a pile of ribbons. It can absolutely just change everything, change physics, materials, everything around it. They are chaotic beings that don't necessarily... They're weird. I don't necessarily know too much about them outside that I know they have great power. Some of them have reasons for existing. Others are just, concentrated chaos power.
Well, what do you think would happen if we were to free it?
Well, if you free it, it might just go back to Boira. It might kill all of you and everything around here, and then move off. What I do know is that it is getting more powerful the more it is breaking free from whatever's going on with it down there. So the longer it's down there, the stronger it will get. So it's hard to know what it's going to do. I probably won't be here for much longer if this continues. It's, like I said, a horrible racket.
Well,
Ask her what her name is.
Oh, you can just call me Granny. I'm not foolish enough to give Evander my real name. Come on.
We both laugh.
Yeah.
But let's see. I don't have a necrotic powder, so I can't order the thing around either. So he's got the hand too.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't think there's much point in talking to this Bargain fellow. I think if he could have done something, he would have done it by now. But no.
So you think we should go look for it first? Go fight it first?
Well,
Then clean up. As we clean up, maybe talk to him later.
I just feel if he could have done something, he would have done. He's probably keeping it down there in some vain hope that it'll be okay and he'll get a profit from it again. But I'm not so sure.
Well, Boris, what do you think?
Bors gets up from the table. He looks around. He says, well, I'm not sure. I mean, perhaps Barjan has some means of dealing with it that he couldn't employ on his own that we could utilize.
Yes.
I don't know, but either way, we should probably head to Last Fen and start taking a look around there. Maybe there's even a little more info we can gather before we face this thing.
I agree.
Okay then. Okay.
Yeah. And she says yes, and just like I said, it's at the bottom of his mansion. You can't miss it. It's the gaudiest building that you can find there. There's not that many buildings in the town, and the town hall is you'll notice it by all the chimneys it has if you need to find them. Outside of that, there's just the church and the stables and all that sort of stuff. So you should be able to get around town pretty easily. She kind of draws you like a little map and just sort of gives you, and like you can sort of see like there's like a lot of townhouses together. There's like the house, the mansion by itself, then like the town hall by itself, and the church by itself. So you guys are able to pretty get. It's like one of those towns that's so small. It's like basically one street, maybe two streets, kind of thing.
Yeah, there's like a square and then a few streets around
Yeah.
it, and then
Exactly.
nothing. Yeah.
Now, you said some of the townsfolk are worshipping / protecting this thing. Is that correct?
Yes. Protecting I don't know about, but definitely worshiping had their minds totally warped by it.
Yeah, we encountered the Weddles, and they were very violent. So I'm assuming, in fact, they seem
Similar.
to be carving up people and turning them into meat.
Yeah.
Waste of a good body, if you ask me. But they turned violent. They were immediately violent towards us. So I'm assuming we'll have to expect that.
Oh yes, they the townsfolk have been killing each other quite a bit. So I would caution that you try and be stealthy while you're there. I think you can take a couple of peasants without too much trouble, especially since I didn't get to have your tasty strength boars, so you're all good. They're mostly just a bunch of absolute animals at this point, so you should be okay, except if they mob you. So, yeah, take care. Anything else I can help you with?
I can't think of anything else.
Well, perfect. Feel free to eat as much as you want, drink as much as you want, and you can leave my home when you're feeling better. And she kind of just goes back to her loom, and it sort of, again, kind of just melts away.
Bors is already halfway up the stairs.
Yeah, as that's happened, yeah, you're like, I'm already out of
Yeah,
here.
as she's talking.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, let's go.
And now I feel you have like a nice long red hair now at this point, just very.
Totally clashes with my complexion.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's that purplish bottle red.
This is like a really yeah, exactly. It's just like a real. It's really vibrant. But yeah, so you guys leave here. You guys get back onto the punt, and the guy is still in the canoe. He's still tied up. He's like wriggling all the way around now, making splashes and waves as he's trying. Like the canoe is like almost tipping over with how much he's like wriggling around in it.
Yeah, he's really freaking out, huh?
Yeah.
Oh boy, I'll throw him right on the shore.
Yeah, of the graveyard.
Pull the canoe up on the shore. Yeah. Well, why don't we take it to the town? No, they'll probably let him go. Yeah, or just cut the canoe loose and
If somehow we break the spell, we can come back and let him out.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
So you're just gonna come loose, leave him. Are you guys attaching him to the dock here, or are you just gonna let him drift off?
I'll attach him to the dock.
Okay. Sounds good. There's not a huge current or anything like that, so it'll probably get stuck somewhere anyway. But yeah, it's probably for the best. If you do want to help him to not, like, these fens are extremely hard to get around. Yeah. So you guys tie him up, and then you guys head off and immediately get back to last fen there. Okay. So you guys, there's a bunch of spots to tie up on. You see that it looks like the land here has been sort of, like I said, terraformed. Like there's actual soil and rocks and all kinds of things to like really make this place a lot more habitable for being able to move around, being able to walk on land that doesn't. It's still moist and humid, but your feet don't go all the way through a bunch of marshy bogness, which is kind of nice. You almost forget what it's like to actually walk on normal land, despite only being like one day. As you guys sort of approach the town, you guys can see like all the buildings are on their stilts and everything like that. You do see, I'd say, Orin, you probably would notice this first with your sort of magical capabilities still. You kind of notice what looks like almost like a heat wave emanating from nothing, just sort of going up. It almost looks like there's like a sort of like almost like a glass dome around the town here. It's very hard to see, but like you just pick up on it just enough because there's a little bit of magic to it. Of almost like the rainbows in petrol puddles. It's kind of like that kind of moving up it.
Iridescence.
Yeah, very iridescent. Yeah.
You'll point this out. I think quite a lot of magic at work in this place. We should, let's get to the town hall quickly, I think.
Okay. So as you guys cross this threshold, you do notice that like it seems like all the fog and mist is being kept out. It's actually like fully clear inside like the town limits. But also, you get hit with this massive, like, tidal wave of energy. I'm going to have you all give me mental saves, please, as you can feel your bodies racked immediately. Okay, failure, and a pass for Boris. Boris, I would say you're more in tune with Boira and that kind of stuff, and, like, maybe you're a little bit more hefty.
Very wary.
Emethelia and Orin, can you guys both roll me a d4 each?
1.
Okay. I'll do one for Geller, too.
There we go. I said roll a d4.
I could just do the first one there. You got 3 anyway. So, weirdly, Geller passes it too. But, Orin, as you pass through, you immediately get hit with, like, this pressure in your head, and you just start vomiting up your guts. Like, just really violently, like, on all fours on the ground, just violently vomiting. And, Emethelia, in your head, you are almost also knocked to your feet. Or not to your knees, rather, barely keeping yourself up as you just hear in your head, free me, and all these different voices. There's like feminine voices, deep voices, non-human voices, all kinds of voices just screaming, free me, just pounding, rattling around inside your skull. Just repeated over and over for the next like 30 seconds before you're able to sort of like push it out. And you Both of you still feel like a weird pressure in your head. Boars, you probably feel something, but overall, you two are much more affected by whatever just hit you like that. Boars is a little bit more unaffected by whatever's happening here.
Yeah.
Boars looks at these two in horror as one is vomiting and the other seems distressed in some mental way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look up at Boris
Yeah,
and I say the angel is begging for freedom.
Really?
That's what that was. I point back to the iridescence. That's what that was. We should probably get moving, and I pat Orin on the back, hand him a handkerchief.
Thank you. Well, it was that stuff we got from the farm. Didn't help.
doubt.
I think
No
it's all
doubt.
back up again.
Yeah, so you guys get yourselves together. You do see the town in front of you. It's not a big town, like I mentioned. You do already notice hanging from the stilts various ages, genders, bodies types, people hanging from their necks, from their wrists, just lots of corpses. Probably like about a half dozen across a few of the buildings that you guys can see, like 5 or 6 of them. And you can see in the middle of like the main sort of muddy road, you see some person turned away from you on their knees, just kind of like moving in a sort of rhythmic pattern. Just like you see their hand going up and down. And they're sort of like just like kind of on the ground, kind of like in a sort of dizzying pattern, kind of like spinning a little bit, just on their hands and knees. They don't look too good. They are not turned towards you. They're turned fully away. What would you guys like to do?
Avoid this thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, look around for what she said was the gaudiest building, the gaudiest mansion.
So you guys do see down like across down the main road, and obviously you guys can go around, like go behind the buildings to get here. You immediately see just this large mansion. You're seeing like almost like a half gilded roof. You're seeing these gorgeous red bricks. You're seeing all these things where like, oh my god, the amount of money must have cost to import the materials here. Whereas a lot of other houses seem to be using, stone and wood and other things that would probably be a bit easier to get from like Ashtown. So it is absolutely hits you right away. It's honestly kind of an eyesore. It clashes with everything else around here. And you also see next to that building, just a few buildings down, you see what looks like the town hall with all the big chimneys coming out of it. And between them, you see a big church. So you guys see the mansion, and you can probably devise a route to, if you guys want to stealth behind the buildings to get there, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Sounds good. You are noticing too, the other buildings, like they just have stilts so you can see through them. Like you can sort of go, like a dock. The stilts that are sort of holding up the mansion above the ground, like by a story, it's all fully covered with stone as well. It seems like you cannot see through the buildings like stilts or anything. It seems like it's fully covered. Like there's a huge project to make like a big basement there. But everything's still held up like a story off of the ground for moisture reasons or whatever the hell.
But there's like a stone facade.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, imagine like stilts on the outside, and then there's like almost like a stone wall behind the stilts there.
Ah, I got you. Yes. Okay.
Oren will point at the wall and say, "We know what's in there. We
Yep.
So are we going to try and free this thing? Is that our plan?
We should at least go talk to it.
Okay. Yeah.
I think and see if
I'm
we
up
survive
for-
that and could make a deal. Yeah.
Okay. So are you guys stealthing through the sort of behind the buildings to get there? Are you guys walking down the main street, or what's your plan here?
Let's stealth, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, what I'll do, I'll just do a group stealth thing here. So whoever has the highest stealth, I'll let you... if I'm feeling mean, I'd do the lowest stealth. I'm feeling nice right now, so I'll...
I have sneak 1.
Okay.
Nice.
I have sneak
I'd
-1.
Okay. So that'll be... If you want to use a different stat, if you can think of a way you might use, wisdom or any of those, you can do that, Martin.
Yeah, I mean, clearly there are some stilts and buildings and things and people in the street, so I think if we kind of try and plot a sensible route, maybe, I don't know, crouching as well, but yeah, just kind of trying to intuit where people might be facing and being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Yeah, using the map, using what you can hear, what you know from here. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, give me a wisdom sneak roll.
Hey, not charisma, wisdom sneak. There we go.
Okay, that's a 12. So that's very good. Yeah, You guys surgically, like I imagine, like Orin, you're kind of leading the way. Every time you guys get close to like a group of people with daggers and pitchforks, kind of like wandering around, you like stop everybody, and then you guys kind of move through. And you guys are very, very good at just sort of moving through the different areas. And Orin, you almost seem like a different person compared to like the last sort of blundering moments in combat and everything else. It's like a new stealth is definitely your forte here as you make your way, guys, to the mansion. Now, before you get there, I'm imagining you guys are sort of like maybe behind a building before you get straight to the mansion here. Are you guys going up, like, there's, like, double doors that, like, there's, like, stairs that lead up to the double doors that lead into the house. Are you guys going to try and go around the back to try and find, like, a back entrance or windows? You're always going to the front? What's the plan here?
A servant's entrance or delivery entrance or whatever it is.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, so I'm just going to make this part of this roll, just in terms of where you guys are going to go. So you guys are going on the back. You do notice that there were stone steps that led up to the main double doors, like really nice, well done ones. In the back here, there's just like really rickety ladders. You see like a pulley system as well. It seems like for cargo, and you do see what looks like a smaller kind of back door up top. So you guys can definitely make your way up to that. And so you guys move up, and what do you guys want to do? Do you guys want to go through the door? Are you checking it at all? Are you going to go through one of the windows? What's your plan here?
I'm only good at going straight through doors. So yeah, unless our mage friend here can give us some assistance, or somebody can check this door, I'll stand back out of the way of the experts.
Yeah, he's not particularly good at that sort of thing, but
I'll open the door.
Yeah, so Boris, as you reach out for the door, there's like almost like a large scream, a screech that kind of rings out across this entire area. Can you guys give me more mental saves, please?
come on.
I feel you passed this time. All right, Orin, you get this overwhelming sense of like breathing meat. Like imagine just like a lot of just like a wall of meat just breathing, inhaling, exhaling, out and out and out. And like that just sort of stops you for a second. Bors, as you reach out for the door sort of falls away, and like you kind of see in front of you, just for like a second, what looks like the adventuring party you went out with in Boira. You see like your old friends, and then just as like you're about to like sort of reach out towards them, it disappears and the door returns, and you're able to open it as you just get hit with this shockwave.
Boris screams out, "Elaine!" and kind of like reaches out,
Yeah.
and like the door's back, and
All right, yeah, you yell out Elaine like out here, and it sort of bounces off the brick stone here, and you guys do hear the sounds of muddy footsteps running towards the house from on the other side. They haven't come around, but you definitely do hear like the sounds of weird, not quite chanting, but like the sounds of moaning and people sort of chattering in weird ways when you do that, and then you open the door. And Amethelia, you are able to just sort of hold yourself firm.
Yeah.
I hear the movement of the townspeople.
Yeah.
And I like quickly go through the door.
Okay, yeah. And Geller's almost like, when the scream happens, Geller almost fell off of like the ladder, but he's kind of just dragging himself through on all fours into the house with you guys just before you close the door. I'm assuming you're closing the door.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And if there's anything to move in front of it.
Oh yeah. There's like a dresser. If you and Boris are able to just grab it and sort of shove it in front of the door there. You see at the window, you see what look like people with scythes and pitchforks and daggers, kind of just like looking around, running around in the back. What's weird is that some of them look like, you know, workers and laborers, but one of them's wearing like this beautiful like red dress that's completely muddy and dirty. You're seeing like she has all these like almost what look like stab wounds in her chest as she's running around, and they also all seem to not only have those starry eyes, but one of the peasants has like a whole slice across his forehead to like his scalp. There's like almost like a burst of like green light coming out of him. These look very not they don't look good.
Darwin is going to take the opportunity to cast Mirror Mask because he keeps suffering from all of these mental problems.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's an art. So you want to just hit that?
Unfortunately, there's no description there, but I can always read it. It says you become instantly aware of any mind-affecting power directed at you and can identify the user if they're within your current sensory range. You may, and this is why it was a good pick, you may re-roll any mental saving throw the attacking ability allows you. If it doesn't allow you a save, you get a single save anyway to resist. If you succeed, You may commit effort for the day as an instant action to give
Okay,
the power
good.
of false impression.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah,
This roll. So yeah.
perfect. And that'll be for the scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, you can absolutely do that. So you'll get that back anyway. Yeah, so you have that ready. You're just like, okay, I've been hit twice now with this. So you're getting it prepared. You guys are on the sort of first floor here. It's a pretty big house. If you guys, I'm assuming, are you guys beelining it straight for trying to find the basement to get to the angel?
I think so, yeah.
All right.
It's only going to get worse the longer we wait.
Yeah, you're hearing movement outside. So do you guys want to give me notice checks to see how fast you guys can try and see if you can find the basement? As you're hearing like the sounds of people walking outside, looking around.
7.
Okay, 11 for Amethelia is very good.
Yeah.
And 9 for Boar. So Boar's and Amethelia, I feel like as you're leading the charge, you sort of run through like a dining room and a living room and a kitchen, and you do find sort of behind there's almost like a what's it called? Not a granary, but a like a larder, like a sort of like the preparation kind of area. You are seeing what look like storm doors or like double doors like are set into the ground like a vault. They lead down.
Doors.
Pardon me?
They're called Bilko doors.
Bilko doors, yeah. So you see some Bilko doors just like right near the back of this sort of service area that look like they lead
we
downwards.
Can shut them as additional protection, or this is where we go.
I mean, you can close them behind you. It's almost like if you open them up, there's steps that lead downwards. So you can close them behind you for sure.
All right, yeah, let's do that. And I'll grab a broom.
Okay.
A broom handle in case. I'm assuming it'll have like hook pulls on it.
Yeah.
And I'll put the broom handle through it.
Okay,
and
sounds
we get
good.
Down inside,
perfect. Yeah, so you get there. I'm assuming you guys are closing every door behind you as you find this place, and then you put that through. And you guys are feeling the immense pressure again. And again, another sort of cosmic scream comes through here. So you guys all give me mental saves again as you guys go down the stairs and are met by quite a crazy sight.
Hey.
Okay.
We each get a turn at passing.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Everybody gets one. Okay, I'm gonna say Amethelia. You get hit and you feel like a sense of euphoria, like nothing can hurt you. You feel like for this moment you feel invincible and you just feel absolutely amazing. I'm gonna say Orin, you kind of notice what looks like blood coming from Amethelia's gums and nose, just slightly starting to bleed a bit. And Boris, you are also hearing in your head now just a screeching to free them. You're hearing so many different voices. You're hearing heavy, gruff voices. You're having non-human, bestial, all kinds. Yeah.
I feel like I'm hearing the voices of my companions.
Yes.
That were lost.
Exactly. There you go. Yeah. So you're hearing them. They're like, free me. Please help me. So you guys are hearing that. Yeah. And so you guys come down, and what you see here is this circular room in front of you. There's all this machinery. There's all these different dials. For those of you who have seen like different like precursor artifacts, like I think Boris in your adventure, you saw one that was kind of floating off. It looks very much like this. You're seeing off of all that machinery, a giant metal arm with different cables and all kinds of things are attached to this large creature. And basically what you guys see is this incredibly tall humanoid, maybe like 14, 15 feet tall. Its skin is like peeling off of off itself, just revealing just this giant body made of very much like the meat that's breathing, inhaling and exhaling like you saw. Just this wall of it just going in and out. You see on its face, it's like a mask of black bone. There's no mouth. There's like the look of like the brow ridge and the nose, but there's no eyes, no anything. And you're seeing it kind of like warble and vibrate on the head of meat, sort of like this lost boat at sea as it just kind of like moves up and down on like the vibrating meat of this creature. And you're seeing it like you're seeing what looks like all around the room are all these different runes carved into the walls. It seems like it's not leaving that area, and it's just sort of raging and screeching. And you're seeing people on their knees and hands. A lot of them look like they have like all these wounds across them, and they're just sort of up, kind of like what look like worshiping it. Some of them look like they're stabbing themselves. It's a pretty horrid sight. What do you guys want to do? It seems like it's just raging out in this moment. It's unclear if it knows you're here or not.
So, if we could find a way, does it look like the runes are powering the machine?
It looks like the runes aren't attached to the machine at all. It looks like the runes are here to keep this thing inside this like circle.
Okay.
From you being a magic user, you can tell that these are like protective, like prisoning runes.
Binding runes.
Yeah.
Okay. So we can turn off the machines. We could try turning off the machine. I think that's probably the first thing to do.
Okay.
So should we stealth around, see if we can see what is doing the powering?
Yeah, I would say, Orin, you're the one who has the most expertise with artifacts and that kind of thing. I'm gonna say, give me an intelligence no roll.
Right. Okay. Good intelligence, but not good no. So let's see what happens. 8.
8 is very
terrible.
good. It's solid. 8 is like a hard pass. With the 8, you can see what looks like above the machinery. You're seeing what looks like a big sort of like green kind of tank. It looks like there's like some sort of liquid in it. It looks like it's sort of zapping with electricity. It's made of like copper and glass. It looks to you like some kind of weird battery. It looks pretty hefty, but it looks like you could probably damage it. Maybe even from range, but it looks like there's some like valves and tubes on it that like you could probably somehow dismantle or try to. And you're not 100% sure that this is going to work, but like you're looking at it and from your knowledge of artifacts and how like old precursor technology works, there's a good chance this should at least damage it somewhat if that's what you want to do.
Yeah. So Orin will point up to it and say, "Boss, can you hit that from here?"
Hit it?
Yeah. See if you can break the glass.
I'll take out my pistol.
I look at Amethelia like,
Yeah, sure.
look at the pistol.
Yeah. So would it be better, and would it be possible even, these machines, could I climb on top of one to get a little closer to it?
I would say that would at least be a stealth check just to try and get around. If you don't want to get seen, if you don't want anything to happen between now and that. I mean, if this thing doesn't already know you're here, so it's up to you if you want to go for that. Yeah, but you can get yourself in a bear position.
Yeah, I'm a -1 on that, so I'm thinking maybe no. That's a sneak roll, right?
It's it's dexterity stealth. Yeah. So what's your dexterity?
My dex is 14.
So that's a 1. So it'd be a straight 2d6 roll. Okay. So it's up to you if you want to do that or not, though.
Well, I guess I can. I'm not seeing stealth on my sheet.
Sorry, sneak. It's
sneak. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I've got a minus. My sheet says I have a -1 on
sneak.
So
you have a -1 on sneak, but you have a +1 on dex, so that would be
it'll
even out. Yeah. So it's up to you if you want to do that.
Yeah, I'll turn the guys and I'll nod and I'll start sneaking up.
Okay. Let's see what happens here. Give me your sneak roll. Okay. So 6. 6 is like just kind of a pass, but for this is not going to be quite enough. You are able to do this. You get yourself into a good position, but you do see the angel turns completely around and faces you. I'd say you're able to climb up onto like part of the machinery, and its face kind of goes down towards you, and like you feel really uncomfortable as all the energy is kind of focused on you. And
I've been on dates like this before.
Yeah, just right in your face. And you just hear like all these different voices at the same time sort of say, you're not part of this clan. You are different. Who are you?
My name is Amethelia, and I am here to free you.
Free me. Oh, perfect. I will let you live. And like as you said that, like you actually are. Every time it talks, it hurts. It grates. Like you feel like your teeth clench as like it just hits your skull. He says, "Oh, once I'm free, you may die. If you free me, you better run."
Not a problem.
But
not a problem. Yeah.
The one who captured me. Where is he? I can't seem to see him.
We don't know. We came straight here. We heard he is in the city hall.
And it's kind of like you sort of see him stop, like, and like the head kind of stops, and you see the meat kind of warble and looks around. Says, "Okay, well, let me out of here. I want my vengeance."
I will. My plan is to shoot that thing right there. I hope it will be what frees you. It will at least turn these machines off. We'll have to do something about the runes after that, though. But this is the first step.
These are keeping me in?
No, the runes are what's keeping you in, but if we can turn these machines off and get you free in here, you might be able to help us
Yes.
break through the runes.
Yes, if I get my power back, yes, these, yeah, I can deal with these.
Okay, so I'll take my shot. I'll plan to take all 3 shots.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make you roll for this. Like nothing's
Okay.
stopping you from hitting this, and you're just like
Okay.
almost point blank firing all 3 into it. Yeah, you smash the glass. Electricity goes firing off. This sort of like green battery goo, whatever, is starting to pour out of it, and you're seeing like a lot of the lights and dials are trying to turn off, and you're feeling the pressure coming off of this creature increasing very scarily fast. As you are noticing, I would say probably Bors and Orin are noticing this first. A lot of the stone around you is starting to crack and shimmer. You guys are seeing what looks like these sort of portals opening up as you see vast cities. Bors, you see like what looks like a planet with 2 suns. Orin, you are seeing completely weird like underwater creatures sort of almost like pulling through into this reality before like those portals close. Like water sloshing out of those portals. There's heat coming off of like the suns. There's all kinds of things changing, and you are seeing the beams holding up the basement starting to crack and splinter. So
Comes down and points to the door.
yeah, so if you guys are all running, give me I'd say strength or dex exert checks just to get out of the basement here.
Can we sort of see outside from where we are at the minute?
No, there's all the stone. I would say with that there are stones cracking and breaking off so that you can see through that. Like, it does seem like everything around you is starting to change and melt and become like kind of unreality here.
Okay, I have a backup plan.
You said a dex exert check?
Strength or dex exert check, whichever's your better.
Dex. Okay. Yeah, strength.
Oh
dex.
boy.
Okay.
Yeah, this is not great. Yeah, so you guys all try to run up the stairs, but the stairs start to turn to liquid cement on your feet as you move up them, and you do see like they start to pour away, kind of pushing you back down. You guys are seeing the angel now sort of grabbing onto the now power down arm, trying to like sort of rip it off of its spine. You're feeling this deep, horrible pressure in your head, and you do see for one moment it does put its arm up and kind of blast off the wall that's behind you, sort of opening up to the space. There is a bunch of stuff falling down now onto you, but there is an opening. So I'm going to ask for, if you guys don't pass this is where things are going to start to get real bad. But there's been now a hole opened up for you guys to try and escape from, thanks to the angel. Give me another strength or dex exert check as you try and move your way out of like the swampy cement stairs. Or if you have anything else you want to do, you can do that in this moment too.
Can Orin pull a
I got a
conjunction of the
7.
inexorable step?
Yeah,
Instead?
what's that?
Cool. This is his backup plan. So whenever he gets in a tricky situation, so we've got a visible target within 100 feet is immediately teleported to any visible, which is why I needed the hole. Solid resting point within a half a mile, provided the target point has enough room to accept them and is not in a position of imminent physical peril.
Okay. How many people can you do that for?
One, unfortunately, it's a bit self-serving.
Yeah.
But he's likely to fail a dex check with his 8 dex.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. So you can do that for yourself. So where are you telling yourself out into the middle of the town, or like into the mud?
It's got to be somewhere he can see.
Yeah.
So whatever's on the
So now
other
the
side of
angel
the wall.
breaking open the wall, you can see back towards that way. Are you going the full distance, just trying to get as close to the punt as possible, or are you going to sort of do like halfway? Like it's because you move 100 feet there. Is that correct?
Oh, half a mile.
Half a mile, yeah. So you can make it back to the
yeah.
punt, essentially back to the dock, if you want to do that.
I think he'll kind of want to be around to help if he can a little bit, but obviously he needs to get out first. So
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah. So
same
so
as the town.
So you move out. You're still in like the danger zone of like all this town is kind of starting to melt a bit, but you are in a much better place now.
Yeah.
Dan, is there anything that you want to do? Is there?
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's anything I can do to gain an advantage here on this roll. What if it's I don't know what's in the dungeoneering kit exactly, but I was thinking if there was like a grappling hook or something like that, I could like toss it up the stairs and kind of use that to help myself get up the stairs.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, you guys feel free to be as creative as possible. The 8 will be enough for you, Amethelia, to get out of this situation.
okay.
So you'll be good with your roll.
Okay.
And so Boris, you grab the grappling hook out, and you're trying to try and straddle onto like one of like the beams or one of the parts to sort of scoop yourself out.
Just to use it to kind of help me get out.
Okay, sounds good. I would say with that, I'll give you a +1 on that. Yeah, I'll give you that bonus. +1 goes pretty far in 2d6.
Absolutely.
Nice. Okay, yeah. So, you guys just see Orin just disappear and reappear on the ground there, in the middle of the town. You two are able to sort of pull yourself out of the muddy concrete, the concrete shoes you're about to have with the stairs melting, and pull yourself out through the wall and fall down into the mud. As you guys see behind you, the entire mansion sort of collapses in on itself before, like, the angel sort of bursts out of it, still kind of clearly not fully caring about what happens to you guys anymore. It is, again, reality now all over. The energy in the air is crackling. It's going off the fucking wall. The house behind you is completely just melting into the ground around you.
Run.
Yeah. and you are seeing the other buildings are starting to also collapse, and it's getting pretty hard. Orin, you're in the lead. I'm going to say, actually, I'll do this right now. Oh, shit. Okay. You don't see Geller, and then he just sort of jumps out of the rubble of the mansion and is just running after. He's in last because he rolled a fucking 12 somehow. So like last minute thought this old wiry man was gone, and then he's right behind you guys.
Jumps out of the exploding building.
And you guys are fucking booking it as you do see everything around you is breaking. The entire roof of the town hall is just torn off, and you see what looks like an older man is pulled up into the air and is brought towards the angel. And the angel starts saying something that you guys can't really hear. It's almost like it's like a peaking mic. Like, it's so loud you can't even make out what it's saying. But what you do see is, in layers, the skin bubbling off of this person. Then, like, the muscle comes off, the veins pop out, and then, like, just the bones turn to dust. And finally just kind of explodes outwards as this angel sort of just lets off this one last burst of complete chaotic madness. Can you guys all give me mental saves, please?
Probably not.
Oh boy, natural one. Another failure.
I can re-roll, I think.
Yeah, you can give me a reroll there.
Hopefully it's not any worse.
Okay, terrible. Yeah, you guys are just hit with this psionic blast that happens. So we're gonna see here who survives this. Okay, hey, 7 damage isn't too bad. Could be horrible for some of you, but I'm not sure.
We're good.
But yeah, so you guys get hit with the sonic blast. You see, like, the buildings just sort of go flying all around you. This big whirlwind takes you up, and you go flying towards the dock. The angel has disappeared, just leaving sort of like a shockwave. Have you guys ever seen, like, one of those bombs go off where, like, you see, like, the actual, like, clouds get pushed? All the fog around you has been sort of clapped and pushed out, and you're just sort of like in this clear area. It is dead quiet. The town has been completely leveled. You guys are all pretty fucked up from the hit, but you were just far enough away where it wasn't the worst thing that could have happened there, so there's that. I'm glad you guys passed one roll, as well, is what I'm going to say right now. And you're kind of just left here in the smoldering ruins of Lastfen.
It's like the end of Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, they're like, it's not even like everything's burning or like it's down. It's like everything is just melting or doesn't make sense. Like, it's just like, it's crazy.
Warping reality.
Yeah, it's all kinds. You're still seeing tears kind of closing, little portals opening, and all sorts of weird stuff. This still feels like a very dangerous area, but at least the angel's gone now. You do feel that pressure is now gone. You feel like almost like if you ever, like, had a nice nap after a bad migraine or headache, and you feel like, okay, I actually feel normal again.
Koth appears to Boars and says something along the line, sarcastic, I guess you really saved the day, like that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Boars, like, immediately out loud echoes that to his companions.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, Kath kind of goes, he puts his arm around Geller, and just like, well, at least you saved one of them. Somebody survived here.
I'm glad you made it, Geller.
Yeah, Geller's just there, like, 1,000-yard stare, not really sure what to make of any of this. Ooh, all right, guys. Yeah, you are able to, thankfully, just make it back to the boats. Most of them aren't smashed. The one you guys came back on is still there. And Geller's like, you know what, guys? I'm gonna keep rowing through the night. I know my way through here. Let's just get back. Let's just get out of here. I don't want to be here anymore.
Oh, hang on. We should probably untie that poor unfortunate fellow in the canoe, or he'll starve most likely.
Do you think he's okay now?
I've no idea.
Go look at him. Go look at him. Is he permanently affected?
The starry eyes are gone, but he's. You know how? I'm just gonna roll a d20. I'll do a luck thing. Let's see what. Okay, no, he's alive. He looks like very much like Geller. He's just like staring off into space. His eyes have come back to normal, and he's just kind of like he looks awful. He looks real bad.
Yeah.
I think we should
Why don't
keep
we
a
just
close eye on him.
Yeah.
Or drop him off on his dock. I mean, you know.
Yeah, you can. You're going past there.
Take him back.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if we take him back, he runs the risk of getting taken in by the consortium. So if we just leave him at his place, I mean,
Might be better.
yeah.
You guys just like untie him and make sure there's a paddle in the canoe and just kind of go off. Just like, all right, buddy.
I have an excellent idea. You're missing four helpers, aren't you? Perhaps he could go back with you and help you out for a while.
I can't do that anymore.
Not like that,
unfortunately.
no, but in the normal sense.
Living helper.
What I don't. The last thing I want in my company's a bootlegger.
Well, fair enough.
You can have him. You can have him if we're in slave trafficking now. You can have him.
Yeah, he's just there in the boat like, oh. As you guys are like, you want him? I don't do with them. He's just like sobbing
leave
in
him
the
there.
canoe.
The hag will probably eat him. The squid or the mossman or the eels or one of the
If
things
you want
that
to
live here.
if you want to take custody of him, I'm glad to bring him back with us. He clearly needs help, but this is not my specialty. If somebody kills him and we wait a month, I can do something about it.
We could drop him off and get along.
Okay, that's fine.
Probably the worst place to drop him off, but yeah, go for it. That's like the headquarters of the people who are looking for him. Yeah, do that in the most dangerous city in Pyrrhion.
Somewhere else, maybe.
There you go. Yeah, no. But yeah, no. You guys he probably has connections in Ashtown, so you guys probably can bring him back there since you're probably going back there anyway for money. So yeah, you guys drag him along past his farm and everything else. He's completely out of it for the trip. You guys get back to the main boat in the river and start heading back to Ashtown. And that's where we'll sort of call it there, as you guys are able to. You figured out what happened. You definitely. I mean, you stopped things from getting worse. I did not expect you guys to go directly to it, and I love that. That was so crazy. You guys immediately just like, we're gonna free this thing. That was fantastic.
Yeah, that was awesome, dude. That was really cool.
That went
That was
insane.
awesome,
Adventure.
Yeah.
Thank you. Dude, you guys are great. That was such a fun little romp into a swamp horror.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. You guys also probably had the good ending there, if anything, because the wizard was just gonna ask you guys to like basically get this thing on him so that he could basically subdue the angel and get him back into extracting it. So to just keep going. So I think doing it this way was a tougher way, but I think better way of doing it. And
Yeah, it was more
Justice.
yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, guys. This was great.
Well,
You guys are a fantastic group.
It was a lot of
I had a
fun.
lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was you did great, man. That was just a really cool adventure.
Nice.
Different
Yeah.
locations.
Yeah.
Pacing was really good. Different encounters.
Awesome. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it, because I really wanted to go for it. I probably should give you guys content warnings before we started, because I realized like, oh wait, there's a lot of fucked up shit in this. I should probably, but I know you three are freaks, so I didn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't too worried about it.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it was good. It was, very, very horror themed. I was thinking about Resident Evil 4 the entire time.
I realized I was like, oh, this is going super Resident Evil 4, and I didn't even mean for that, but it was just a great thing to pull from, especially like the farm with like the different people there.
The cornfield, that was super creepy. That was great.
Yeah.
Very atmospheric the whole
Awesome.
the whole way.
I thought the hag was the cause of the problems as well. I was ready.
Yeah, I wanted to throw in a little
Cool.
because you guys could also miss that.
Yeah.
And I only had the moss hunters give you guys that clue. But if you guys went the other paths, you guys wouldn't have gotten that clue. And like you might have gone the graveyard because you would have seen it, but that was the only. So you guys end up getting the one. I was like, oh, perfect. All right. You guys actually.
That's so great.
Yeah.
Just this past week in the Blades in the Dark game I'm playing in, we had a hag encounter.
Oh hell yeah! I love
Yeah,
hags.
In a D&D world, but we're playing Blades in the Dark
Yes.
or whatever.
You were telling me about that, yeah. That's awesome.
It was crazy. My buddy had an ability that, like, if he shakes hands, if he agrees to someone and shakes hands with them, like, both parties have to, like, agree to, like, and he got our GM to, like, kind of do this, and he tricked the hag into, like, doing shit she
That's
didn't want to
awesome.
do. It was fucking epic, dude.
Well, it's like a taste of their own medicine, because that's like a hag thing to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was such a cool moment where it was like, oh shit, he got the hag.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, it was like, well, he outsmarted me. But,
Amazing.
yeah, this is awesome, dude. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys. You were a fantastic group. I hope you guys have a good rest of your weekend.
Enjoyed playing with you guys.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
awesome.
absolutely,
Yeah.
Heather, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Good seeing you both.